Oh, what is up, Friday Nighters? Welcome back to another episode of Just Another Friday Night. I'm one of your tonight 3 hosts, CM Chuck.
I'm Double A.
That's Adamantium Adam. That's Adamantium Adam, guys. Learning to talk would be helpful. And in the back, the lady, Untamable Amy, who's been here so many times. Sis, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be back again and have a good episode.
All right. Let's do it. Guys, we're only about 50 minutes late, so that's not 55 minutes late, so that's not
counting.
That's not too shabby for It's Friday, right?
No one has to work
tomorrow.
Friday.
How was the week, everyone? Let's go around the table. Sis, how about for you? How was your week?
Actually, it was a long week. I feel like it took a long time to get to Friday this time around.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Were you off Monday? You weren't off Monday.
No, I was not off on Monday. Yeah. They don't believe in that.
Yeah, I get you. Double A, how about you?
Just long week, but it was good.
And you weren't off Monday either, right?
Oh, no.
So I feel like shit, because I feel like I had a long week too, but I was off Monday.
My next day off ain't until May.
Oh, okay.
Probably the same
We're
for
getting
me.
a fiesta one at the end of the month. But we won't harp on that.
Nice.
Quickly in the comments. Oh, wait a minute! Look, even I'm here.
Hey,
how am I in 2 places at once?
hell?
I'm learning to split my consciousness here. Toy Mafia in the house, always first out the gate saying what's up. Comics, yeah, I like that. Just comics, saying swag. We appreciate you, comics, on the YouTube there. Abe Dunk TV says, "What's up, boys? What's up, Abe Dunk? We appreciate you being here, brother." Toy Mafia round back again, letting us know, hey, they're here. And Abe Dunk says, "Got my new PS5 camera to stream. Hey, awesome, man. That's great news. Great news." Oh, did I miss one?
Yeah.
And then he says, week went by fast. Good to hear, man. Good to hear. If you guys saw earlier, I was trying something new. I was guesting on the After Dark show on the Collecting Weekly with the guys, and I was using a different laptop, and it was letting me connect to our old StreamYard, so I was running their stream through our stream for once. So you could have potentially saw the After Dark episode from Collecting Weekly on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook group, the Friday Night Faithful. So if you guys ever want to check us out there, please go and do so. Real quick, let me adrenalize you guys with some news. We'll talk quickly. I think that this is the biggest thing, and we talked a little bit about it on Wednesday, but obviously there is the casting of the Silver Surfer. So this lovely young lady here, whose name is, what is her name, Double A?
Man, I forgot. And she's great in, like, Ozark and
Julie Garner.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then she did that Netflix series about that con artist. I forgot her name.
I don't know which one.
But yeah, she's great. She's a great actress.
I thought she looked familiar, but I don't know what she's from.
Ozark is probably her big role.
Okay, I haven't seen that Ozark yet. Did you watch it?
I saw a little bit. It's pretty good.
Okay, that's what I kept hearing, especially when it first came out. Everybody was loving it. So your thoughts on this casting, Double A?
Yeah, so she's playing Shia LaBeouf, who is going to be the Silver Surfer. I don't like it. Especially I was like, if they're going to cast her, they should have just made her Nova.
Right.
The other Herald of Galactus. I would have taken her as Nova better than her as Shia LaBeouf as Silver Surfer. Yeah.
And if you know Silver Surfer lore, and we're huge Silver Surfer fans here at Just Another Friday Night, we love, Norrin Rad, the planet of Zenlaw.
This character.
Yeah, let me bring that back in.
She should have been playing that character right there.
Nova is a famous Herald of Galactus also.
Probably the second best known one.
Yeah, and Shia LaBeouf, obviously, his Norrin Rad's love, but making Shia LaBeouf the Silver Surfer instead of Norrin Rad as the Silver Surfer. I don't like it. I don't like the gender swap in this instance because to me that character is so iconic and there's so much that could be done with that character. I thought one of the bright spots of the old Fantastic Four movies was the Surfer.
We always said that. Doug Jones with Lawrence Fishburne's
voice.
In the comic books, was there a girl, a female Silver Surfer?
No, not Silver Surfer, but Nova.
Oh, okay. Oh,
but this is not Shia LaBeouf, right? That's Nova?
No, that's Frankie Ray.
That's Frankie Ray, who is a separate Herald. What do you think about it? So what do you think about just in general when they...
Well, I think I asked you about it as soon as I saw it, right? And I was like, what is this?
Yeah, but how do you feel about it being maybe a female and then them swapping the gender of the Silver Surfer? They're going to obviously call her the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, no, because that's not what I'm accustomed to. That's not what I'm used to. I mean, I'm okay with change, but I didn't even know that they were doing that. Like at that.
So is she gonna have his origin? I mean,
I hope
is
not.
Nora gonna be the one? No, Shia LaBeouf, come back.
Right.
While she makes the deal.
It's gonna be a man.
It's very difficult for me to see that character with his, being a big part of the Surfer's character is that he's just so down about the fact of what he did, and he's trying, he's remorseful and he's trying to regain some of that. So
it's kind of like a love story, isn't it? Like his.
It's a sad story. Yeah, he leaves her behind, but he's thinking he's gonna have his memories and he's gonna lead Galactus to like planets that are alive but not filled with people. But Galactus mind wipes him, and he ends up destroying countless civilizations.
Right.
With Galactus.
See, I don't think I knew that.
And I think it's eventually what the fence is. It Reed that helps him
it's
get
when
the
he comes to
back?
Earth, and it's Alicia Masters
Alicia.
that kind of awakens him.
Yeah.
To be like, hey, this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this, and you should be fighting back against Galactus.
Real quick, she was in that Sin City, A Dame to Kill.
That's right.
Ah.
She's with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I was trying to see something that I knew.
Okay. Also, I've always,
good. Like I said, she's great. She's a great actress, and everything. But
yeah, and I've always loved Shia LaBeouf's look in the comics too. She's got this black hair and these blue eyes that are really like in this pale skin. She's really like striking. And I mean, they might make her dark haired in the movie if they give an origin or whatever. But I don't know.
I didn't like it.
I don't like it.
Give me Surfer first.
Yeah, give me straight up regular Surfer first.
Give me Surfer first.
Our good friend, John Goodino, the everyday collector. Was saying on Wednesday, he said they've yet to do that character justice. So why are you going to do this gender swap before you've even done one right?
That's what I said. You can do that after. Do that shit afterwards.
Yeah, and
just
make sure
give us Silver Surfer. Just give us Norrin Red first.
Absolutely.
Then you can do whatever the fuck you want.
And check out John's show after. It comes on after our show, not like on the same channel, but look up his show and check it out.
Honestly, I think that's why so many people are cool with the Miles Morales already, because we've already had so much Peter Parker already.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's why people are ready for Miles now.
No, and that's what makes Miles so great, is that the fact that it's like he's already established as a, half black, half Puerto Rican character. That's who Miles Morales is.
But you know what I mean? Like if they said the next Spider-Man movie is going to be Miles Morales. Fine. Because we've already had...
Absolutely.
What, 4 or 5... 10?
Too many.
10 movies of Peter Parker.
And I love Peter Parker, but I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, we already got his rogues gallery out. We've seen him fight Venom and Sandman and Goblin.
And I just feel like there's no way that they stay away from some type of love story or something like that, either with the Human Torch or something like that. That's never been the case, but I feel like they're going to mess with
Frankie Ray.
Right, with Frankie Ray and
Nova.
And Nova, and Johnny.
Johnny,
So I feel like, are they going to be borrowing from origins and from characters? If so, I just am not for that, especially not with that character. My dad loves the Silver Surfer too, so him being a huge fan, he's got the tattoo.
What he thought.
Yeah, he's got the tattoo on his arm. I have a huge poster. The only, I think, comic book hero poster I have hanging on my wall is the Silver Surfer, so I literally look at it every day, so it's like, this is not cool.
Yeah, we have it in here too.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Jeremy in the house says, "What's up, fellas?"
Hey,
and
up,
Amy.
Jeremy?
So he says that. Make it acknowledge a picture. And then Abe Dunk says, "They should have kept it original. Nothing against the women playing Silver Surfer, but maybe I'm gatekeeping." No, you're not.
No,
you have an affinity for the character.
There's other characters that she'd be perfect. Again, Nova. Nova is like super powerful. She is like right up there with Silver Surfer in terms of power. They could have easily done her.
Yeah, and like I said, there's so many other characters. They've been touch and go
with Pattinson. We always say he should have been Terry McGinnis.
Right, absolutely. And people were, what we talked about on Wednesday a little bit too. They were saying like they have gender swapped some characters, like the character Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, but no one was really like that up in arms.
Gave a shit.
Yeah, Taskmaster. Nobody they gender swapped Taskmaster. Nobody gave. It's fine.
You can do that.
Yeah, you can do it. Like I told Double A before we went on air. I said, do they want to switch the Sentry? Who the fuck's a big Sentry fan? I don't see people walking around with Sentry T-shirts. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I don't give a shit about him. I'm like,
you're offending those fans right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, do it with somebody
All
else.
10 of them.
Especially because his story is so rich. There's so much you can do with that character that you're essentially shooting yourself in the foot. And we know the Marvel way. It's like once they go in, it's like they're not going to go back.
Check it out, Sam. You have Namor in the movies. You have Hulk, and you have Doctor Strange. You could have easily done the Defenders.
That would have been incredible. Yeah. So
yeah, I don't like it.
It's a bummer.
Like I said, she could have been Nova easily.
Yeah, huge bummer. Obviously, like you guys said, both of you,
I like her.
Great actress.
I like her.
I mean, obviously, she's a gorgeous looking gal right there, whatever. And again, I would love to have seen her as Nova. I would love to see her as Shia LaBeouf, but I don't want to see her as a Silver Surfer.
From the acting, she has a personality like for Frankie Ray.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, see, that would have been cool. Frankie was always a fun character. Guys, go back on Disney Plus and watch the Silver Surfer show. It's one season.
She actually comes out a lot.
It's fantastic. It's no pun intended with the Fantastic Four, but it's fantastic. So go check that out. awesome news that you posted, Double A. I had this picture of the
There
guy
he
there.
is.
Which looked cool. One of the cool things. He looked really cool too. They did that one thing right. But this was really cool from Deborah Ann Wall, her Instagram.
yeah.
She posted.
I didn't know she was coming back too. I was happy. I was like, hell yeah.
She posted. She goes, "There's someone dropping spoilers for Daredevil Born Again on the set, and it's Johnny Bernthal." And Double A posted this badass picture right here. And there's even a new picture that came out today, which shows them both with Matt in the suit too.
I was like, okay, cool. We're gonna have Punisher in this. That's fucking awesome.
Absolutely. Where do you stand on the Daredevil shows, sis? Have you seen all those? Have you?
So I watched the first season. I was actually rewatching not that long ago, and I haven't got to rewatch again all the way through. But I really liked the Daredevil shows. I like the guy who plays him. What's his
Charlie
name?
Cox.
Charlie Cox.
Charlie Cox. Yeah, I actually knew him before when he was in Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, he's really great in that too.
Yeah, he's really good in that.
His character is badass.
So I had already liked him before I started watching Daredevil, but I really did like that one. So I think I'm watching. I'm watching season 2. I think because that's with Kingpin. Is he in the first season?
He's in all three.
He's in all three. Yeah.
Okay.
In season 2 is when you first see the Punisher in the Daredevil series. Have you got to the Punisher yet?
Oh no, then I'm still in. I think I'm still in season 1.
Yeah, you get some really great characters in season 2. You get the Punisher, you get Elektra, which are like two huge Daredevil.
I think
characters.
I was rewatching the first season because I couldn't remember a lot of the things that had happened because it had been a while. So I need to catch up on that.
Okay, I highly suggest wrapping it up, sis, so that way you can get to Born Again.
Yeah, but it's who knows when that's gonna come out. So,
yeah. CJ Belanger from Canada says the outrage about this casting is ridiculous. I think she'll kill it.
She will kill it, CJ. But
she will.
It should have been Norrin Red.
And she'll also kill the Silver Surfer character, CJ. So we don't want that as Silver Surfer fans. But again, we respect everyone's opinion. And who knows? Maybe I'll go in and I'll be blown away.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. But
it will still feel like not my Silver Surfer in a way. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I like the Norrin Red story and I like that story. And again, too, some people, of course, you can't do anything like this, right? You can't do a gender swap or anything like that or a race swap because people automatically throw out the woke word, right? And I'm like, well, if that's the case, they're from Zen Law. They're not even Earthlings. It's like they cast a white woman. They could have easily cast an African American woman, a Latino woman. They could have done a lot of other things if you're going to, if they're going to be leaning on the side of wokeness as Disney is constantly being accused of now. So it's like, where does the line draw? You know what I mean? I just telling Double A off air, I said they did the Echo show. You have Echo, who's a Native American woman who's also deaf and who also doesn't have a leg. So it's like, I felt like in that one they were trying to pile it on, like, oh, we've in this one character covered all this audiences. It's like, okay, much. Like you're kind of laying it on thick and not really. That's not really what we want. You know what I mean? It's just to be like, well, not me as a fan wants that. It's like, what are you really trying to do here? But all that aside, excited about the Punisher. Yes. Excited about some of the original cats, especially Deborah Ann Wall.
Have you heard some of his podcasts?
I have not. I heard it's good though. I have never heard it though.
Yeah, it is real good. I liked it a lot.
Okay, that's something to definitely give a listen to because I've been looking for something good to listen to for sure. Besides just another Friday night. And Collecting Weekly and the Tis the podcast and Totally Rad Christmas and of course the Now Watch the
plug.
And again, I just got this great image here from when Johnny's in court.
I showed Will that one. He loved that part.
Johnny Vernthal's in court. You'll get to this scene. So I'm glad I don't have the video because then it would definitely ruin it.
He started laughing hard.
Yeah, he is excellent as the Punisher.
He is. He's by far my favorite Punisher.
No doubt. No doubt.
He gets it. I think he gets it more than all the other ones did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Was there anything else, guys, to you guys that occurred this week in the world of pop culture or news that you felt worthy of talking? I've got maybe 2 more things.
Action Comics, the number 1 is sold for $6 million. A new record.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was 8.5. It was a graded 8.5.
An 8.5 Action
for
Comics.
1938 comic.
The first appearance of Superman. I believe there's only 6 in circulation. I think it's like that. And then there's only the grades are different. Apparently the one Nicolas Cage once owned has its own reputation, so it's like you can own the Cage one. But yeah, that's pretty cool to know
8.5 though, damn.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, if I had millions of dollars and was able to buy that comic, I'd want the 8.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want the highest, greatest one I can get.
I'd probably be buying all of them.
I'm always curious, Double A, about the story that our good friend Mario Delgado told us about the guy that wore one on the handcuff in the suitcase. I wonder what grade that one was. Man. So, very cool. Someone here says, "Hi, Amo. Not everyone calls you that, so I'm interested who that could be." Facebook user, let us know your name in the comments if you can. Obviously, Monday, we have the total eclipse here in Texas, but I have heard lots of reports of supposedly bad weather, cloudy weather, rainy weather.
I thought that it was going to be rainy.
Yeah.
And it's like 50-50.
I know.
Like, everybody's happy about, like, everybody's excited for it, and the other half is like, it's going to suck or whatever. Cause
well, I'm glad, like, your son's school is going to have, like, a thing for them. They're going to take the kids outside and attempt to, I believe on our side of town, a lot of people were telling us, like, oh, you're in Texas, are you going to watch it? It's like, well, you know, in our town in San Antonio, it's huge. It's a huge city. It's huge in the sense, not huge like how New York is huge. It's huge like it's like land-wide. It's huge like it's spread out. So there are some areas of town that I think we're just going to see some of it, and the rest I don't know. What about you, Double A? You could potentially be on the road. Could you potentially be somewhere where you could get good visibility of the eclipse?
I'm trying not to see it because when it says it can hurt my eyes, I'm not going to try and see it.
Right.
So,
if you're going to look at it, guys, wear the special glasses.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So supposedly in our area, it's supposed to be really visible in the Bernie, Fredericksburg area. I think that's where the spot is for Texas.
So last year we caught it. We're heading to Fredericksburg, and we caught it on a small town going out that way.
Yes, you were having a girls' day that day.
Yeah.
Were you Double A's wife?
No,
she was supposed to go with us.
Day.
Yeah,
Okay.
she couldn't go with us that time.
And then Bill Nye, the science guy, is supposed to be
I
I
would have loved to have
Yeah,
met
he's
him.
here, so that's, I mean, obviously, and again, because this one only comes around every
so often.
So often. So, and we the one Amy's referring to, I saw with her son and my dad at a Buc-ee's, which the parking lot was full of people just there just to watch that, to spectate.
Yeah, which they're saying too, if you're gonna come to see the solar eclipse, they're asking people to at least stay for like an hour.
Yeah, because the traffic will just jam up so bad.
It's gonna be insane, I'm sure.
But no one's gonna listen. So.
Yeah, we'll see how that
When
goes.
do they ever?
Yeah, exactly.
What else? The other thing I want to mention, WrestleMania weekend, Double A.
That's
We're
right,
wrestling
WrestleMania.
fans. Obviously, this Rock story has
Night
been
1 and 2.
building. Rock, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes. Are you going to watch? Do you feel like you're going to watch?
I may watch some. I'm not going to watch all of it this year. No party this year. No nothing this year. Good. But I may just check it out. See how The Rock moves.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. If I get a chance on,
and I think it's smart that they're putting him in a tag match.
Yeah.
Because I think the last time he wrestled, he tore his stomach.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah.
It's funny that y'all mentioned that because I just saw a video. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but
you did. They're on Fallon.
They're on Fallon, and I didn't know that he got to actually wrestle with his dad.
Yeah, his dad, Rocky Johnson, Soul Man. Rocky
I never knew that, and I didn't know either that was their cousin's dad that he was wrestling, and I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. And if you go back in that scene that they showed in that clip, they're wrestling the Sheik. The Iron Sheik's in there.
Yes.
And if you go back, if you watch like that Young Rock show, it's cool because it shows you about like how they were all friends. They were in the same territory. He knew like Andre the Giant when he was little, and the Iron Sheik and Macho Man Ric Flair. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty accurate telling, I think, of his life for the most part. So
most of it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I probably won't watch it necessarily live. No, unless I'm just at home just doing nothing. I mean, I will, but otherwise. I might wait because I really liked when I could just fast forward to the stuff I didn't want to see, and then I could just watch whatever.
Yeah, I saw one of your teams is back together though, the DIY.
Oh yeah, Gargano and Ciampa.
Yeah, I didn't know they got back together.
Well, those are guys I like because you showed me who they were from the Ring of Honor days. You know what I mean? So they're great, really excellent wrestlers. Of course, our friend Joe from Now Watch This says, they're good for small guys. We're small guys, Joe. And if you see those, I see those guys in person, and they don't look small when you're up close to them. Let me tell you, I was like, they look pretty fucking big. So, that'll be cool to see them. Kara's in the house. Kara says, supposedly there was an earthquake in New York today. Yes, I did hear about that as well.
I saw a bunch of videos.
East Coast, interesting on that. Is there a fault up there? A fault line? I don't think I knew.
I don't know, man.
But everybody was freaking out about it.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of scared. I'm like, man, is our planet becoming Krypton? I'm kind of scared now.
Sadly, we have no one to let us know, like
Jor-El. There has been people keep saying, stop drilling.
Yeah.
So, so I'm kind of scared we're going to blow up soon.
Well, there's that. There's eclipse. Let's see what happens during this eclipse, right?
Total eclipse.
I saw this video, right? This guy got so fucked up last Friday night. He goes, was looking up at the Tower of the Americas in the fog and thought it was a UFO. You sent me that?
No, I didn't send it to you, but I saw it.
He's like, oh shit, it's right here. It's so close. And he's like, they're like, man, that's a tower, fool. He's like, oh, damn.
It did look, it was really foggy though that day. And I was like, oh yeah, all you can see is the fucking lights.
Well, guys, if this is it, check us out in
Oh.
the afterlife at JAFN Podcast. We should be still broadcasting in another world. So
And we just found out that Facebook user is actually Ashley Nunez, formerly known as San Miguel.
Hey, Ashley, we appreciate
Hi,
you being
Mashy.
here. Very cool. Let's see. That's all I really had, guys.
Yeah, I'm glad it was kind of slow this week.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Slow news week. But if there's something else that you thought of, that you could think of, that you'd like to talk about, by all means, feel free to drop it into the comments. We'll be happy to discuss it with you. In whatever form or fashion you want to talk about it with. But with all that aside, guys, we are here for a specific reason tonight. Last Sunday, we had some conclusion, some answers. We brought in Untamable Amy for the specific reason is besides Double A and myself and his wife, there are probably no bigger Walking Dead fans left. It seems like not even the Talking Dead is around no more. What happened to Talking Dead?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to pay him anymore. I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe they didn't feel like they had enough, pull to keep. Because I actually enjoyed the Talking Dead. And
I did too.
I'm sure that there were
did
fans.
too.
I didn't watch it as often as you did,
Yeah. It was
but
solid.
I was more concerned with the actual show.
Right. But yeah, the one that everyone had been waiting for, was the show that was called, this most recent show, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, which was, Rick and Michonne reunited on screen. Andrew Lincoln returns to the role that made him famous, despite what you might think about Love Actually. It was this role that made him famous. And people were like, man, we got to see the proper, Walking Dead proper, the main show end. And I believe since then, the Fear of the Walking Dead has ended. We saw a new show with Maggie and Negan, which we covered, Dead City. We also saw the Daryl Dixon show, which Amy hasn't caught yet.
I haven't caught yet.
But we also covered here as Walking Dead,
I think I
fans.
read that this one was by far the most successful out of the three.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say it's because of him coming back.
Yeah, I would agree, and I would say that this is also the story that people were really waiting to see what happened. People were, for a long time. I think I've said it before in some of our other shows that the people you could not kill, to me, that were like, if they die, I'm done with The Walking Dead. And it was like Rick, Michonne, and Daryl.
Almost kind of like the 5 characters, right? I mean,
yes.
Negan too. I mean,
Well, yeah, he elevated, and Carol elevated too for me.
I was gonna say Carol too.
Yeah, because they didn't kill them, but they left, and I was like, "What can you? Rick and no Michonne? I mean, like, shit. The comic book starts with Rick's life. The show starts with Rick's life. It really revolves around Rick, so to take him
it's
out.
a different ending for Rick though.
Yes.
Yeah, in the comics.
From what I understand as well, too.
Yeah, if you read the comics, he turns into a zombie in the comics.
Oh,
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah.
I would never read
But Carl lives. Carl is the one that
He
looks
lives.
like he's the one that.
He's
kind
the
of-
Rick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like the John Connor.
But I mean, everything's like Rick was with
Andrea.
Andrea.
That's right.
From season 1, the blonde haired chick that.
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
way back. Them two ended up together. Michonne's not even. Her and Michonne aren't even together.
Right.
Him and Michonne aren't even.
Yeah, it's a different thing. And there's
Yeah,
no
it's
Daryl
totally
in the comic
different.
books.
Yeah, there's no Daryl.
By far one
Yeah.
of my favorite
I'll
characters.
not be reading that then.
Yeah, we read a little bit
It
of
was
it.
hard.
You know,
No,
I was
it was
like,
hard to read. I didn't enjoy Robert Kirkman's writing.
yeah, this writing is.
I mean, great imagination. I mean,
Yeah.
he gave us this whole universe and Invincible.
No doubt.
So
No doubt. But again, and I believe that Robert Kirkman is smart enough to know that this outgrew him a little bit, and so he let the people that loved
I
it.
would. I mean,
work.
like,
Yeah.
shit, let it go.
You guys are, especially if I'm seeing stories better than what I could do. It's like, well, that's fucking fantastic. Great, you're
For
making my
about
character.
5 or 6 seasons, it was.
And look at how, for a character that wasn't even in the comics, Daryl is one of the most beloved Walking Dead characters there is. He's got his own series now. He's got a second season coming
Michonne's
out.
probably on a different level of popularity than she is in the comics.
Excuse me, absolutely, yeah.
So-
I think it's like he kind of gave them to us. They were badasses, but then the
But then
show
they're
took
like,
them to
okay,
other levels.
Yeah, Frank Darabont was like, okay, we're going to do this over here.
Right.
The original showrunner.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. It's 6 episodes, guys. AMC. They're the typical 52 minutes. I think was it something
Yeah, was
like
it
that.
Even though
hour?
it felt like
Yeah, I
those
guess so.
commercials were killing me this
Oh,
time
I
around,
know.
man.
Which
Yeah.
I know what's great about, like, I have AMC Plus, so what's great is that there's no commercials.
That is great.
Yeah, so-
we were
That's
watching
one
on
that we don't
YouTube
have.
TV through Jess,
Yeah.
and like in real time,
Yes.
pretty much.
And
And
yeah.
it was like, Amy's not lying. The commercials are a real.
Yeah.
I feel
bummer.
like the commercials were longer than the clips
Yeah.
of the show that they were giving
Yeah.
us, and I was like,
No
okay.
doubt. So, real quick, I'm just going to give you guys a quick recap. So, the last time we saw Rick, it's like we knew that number one, the timeline had advanced like 6 years.
Yes.
So, we saw this kind of gray haired, grizzled beard Rick. They're still in Alexandria. Him and Michonne are going strong. Judith they aged up Judith from being like
Right.
Was she
She's
still a baby? Like a toddler.
She was walking already.
So he's yet to see her develop into the badass we kind of got to see in the last couple of Walking Dead proper episodes. But yeah, this zombie horde is coming to Alexandria. Rick chooses they wire this bridge with explosives, but I think
there's some group that comes, right, where he has to blow up the bridge.
Yeah, or I think too, that's how he ignites the explosives. So that
he was really high on this bridge for some reason.
Yeah,
I never understood why he was on.
I don't know, but yeah, he pretty
much
was like
it was gonna restore humanity. I was like, a bridge?
Yeah, he pretty much like dies, right? Just in front of Michonne and like I think Daryl.
Yeah, because I think they're trying to go.
Yeah, and they can't find his body either. So they're like, shit,
right.
You know?
And what we find out is that like he washed up ashore, like down the river or whatever. And who finds him but like our least favorite bitch, the junk lady, Jadis. I think I've got a picture of her here somewhere. Yeah,
do you like her hair?
No, I fucking hated. I hated her hair in the other one, and then
her hair was better in before this.
What about when she's talking to Father Gabriel? What about that?
No, there's no. I could not wait for this bitch to die. I was like, let this bitch die.
I was like, Father Gabriel.
Damn. Well, you know,
I was like, is that supposed to be like before Rosita, or is he smashing Rosita and talking to her?
No, I think it's. Well, yeah, because she didn't die till the ending.
That's why I'm like, is this guy cheating on Rosita with this one? I was like,
cheating doesn't exist in this world.
Not even if you're a priest, right?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Jerking off to her.
Exactly. So you know, we were kind of, I think, all. You know, we knew that Rick had left in this helicopter with Jadis, right? Yes. But we didn't know where he went or whatever.
Yeah, because supposedly at the end, he's like, he's a B. It's like, they ask her, is he an A or a B? And she's like, she says B, and we're kind of just left with that. But, you know, they're taking him away in a helicopter, which is like, whoa, helicopter.
Yeah.
Whoa, you know, what the hell are you doing here? You know?
And also, we see these three little circles on the helicopter. So, you know, of course, The Walking Dead always, like, drops you things so that you can figure out or whatever. And so we don't really see these three circles appear again until that show that came out.
The World Beyond.
The World Beyond, which is supposed to be... It's supposed to take place 10 years from when the zombie apocalypse started.
That's right.
So not 10 years from
the main show,
or anything like that, which again advanced itself 6 years.
Too many intertwining shows.
Really
after being and then they got Fear the Walking Dead, and then, you know, me and Double A covered Tales of the Walking Dead. Did you get to watch that one? That was the separate stories.
See, me and my wife wanted to see Fear the Walking Dead, but we lost interest like in season 1.
Yeah.
I tried doing Fear 2, and I was like...
It was like, I think they blew such a great opportunity with that one. They should have showed like the whole world falling apart.
I just think the characters weren't that interesting.
They weren't.
No.
And then the same thing in World Beyond. The characters weren't interesting at all in that show either.
Yeah.
So we stopped watching that one too.
And it's interesting, right? Because those stories, you could say, come from the TV show's creative teams as opposed to the source material comic book. You know what I mean? Where the main characters were there. So it just kind of goes to show that despite what we might have thought about Kirkman's writing in the early books, it was strong enough to keep the show going and create this whole universe. Because I tried watching World Beyond 2, did not get interested. Tried watching Fear, watched all of the first season, and got a little bit into season 2, and it was like, this isn't for me, and just was like, I don't really need to know what happens here. And again, too, you can watch recaps now that are really quick, and it'll give you the whole insight. So for me, I'd rather watch something like that for Fear if we needed to talk about it in relation to this. And that's exactly what I did for The World Beyond, so I could understand how that show tied into this show. So before we kind of get into the episode by episode, guys, and there again, there's only 6. What did you guys think had happened to Rick? What did you maybe have want to happen to Rick? And
well, I mean, they had teased that he was still alive. That's why Michonne left.
I was for sure that they weren't going to kill him off. I was like, there's no freaking way. And I think we had already known that Michonne was pregnant, I think.
Yeah, I think we, the audience knew, but Rick didn't know.
I had forgotten all about
I had forgotten that, too.
I thought you knew about RJ.
When they did a couple of recaps, like flashbacks, I was like, man, I just watched it, like, probably more recently than you, like, the ending, and I don't remember a lot of it because it was already been kind of a while ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, shit.
And plus, too, like, a lot of what's going on at the end of The Walking Dead, the main series, is not really revolving around them. Like, Judith is there and stuff like that, but it's like, you know, for the most part, RJ's little, so he's, like, off to the side. And and Michonne hadn't been there, so it's not like she's talking about her situation. She's off looking for Rick. And she finds this kind of, like, piece of evidence, which are his boots on this boat. And I think she's starting to understand that there could be other, peoples out there, and that she thinks that he's alive. So, again, fans of The Walking Dead, maybe that have quit the show for a while and been gone, I think we're still anticipating and looking forward to this show, and at least getting the answers and essentially maybe the closure you wanted with this show.
Yeah.
If you had walked away for a while, but you were like, you know what, I really want to just see what happened with these two characters who I really enjoyed. Again, easily two of the most popular characters. And really the main character, with Rick Grimes, Andrew Lincoln, and then Denai Guerrera as Michonne, who was easily one of the most popular with her, starting out with her, walkers without their bottom half of their mouths, pretty much like watchdogs, and then her katana blade made her super badass as well. So it starts out, and we kind of see that we're gonna get the Rick story. What's Rick been up to for all
I
this
was like,
time?
okay, great, we're gonna, it's Scott Gimple. I was like. Yeah. He's probably right away. His 3 episodes or this is like we're gonna have a Rick episode, a Michonne episode, and a Jadis episode. So you figure out the other 3.
Yeah, the classic perspective hopping that we didn't really care about. Scott Gimple. You remember us talking about this, where there was a couple of seasons where it felt like you saw the same thing happen 4 times from every character's perspective. Like, Negan was behind the trash can. Okay, we'll get to that next week. But meanwhile, like Daryl was over here.
It's that was like his hallmark.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
but that's the only way you can do it. I mean, you can't.
I feel like if you need to show all the characters' perspectives, does it
from season 1 through 5, they really didn't do any of that shit.
No,
when he took over, it was like, what's going on here? I was like, I remember seeing one of those episodes, and I was like, that's last week's episode. I was like, son of a bitch.
And you're like, didn't I see this already? Like Double A said, since I don't know if you know, but Frank Darabont, the original showrunner, is who directed, right? The Shawshank Redemption. So talk about masterful storytelling. It doesn't really
Which you can tell that first season feels different than all the other seasons.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it really does. So, let's talk about this, right? So we find out that Rick has been with these people called the CRM, which is the civil.
I didn't care about them enough to remember.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whoever they were the CRM. So, and this is what I learned from watching a recap about The World Beyond. The 3 circles represent like 3 apparently populations that kind of survived.
That's right. That's
so
right.
it's Omaha.
That's right.
Portland, and then the CRM, and I
Philadelphia.
think CRM is essentially the Philadelphia. So you've got like
like
East Coast,
East, West, and the middle.
Yeah, East Coast, Midwest, and then West Coast.
I would have never gathered that.
Yeah. So that's what's like
I was
going
about
on
the
or whatever.
Rick. I was like, who cares about these other people? When is Rick gonna kill everyone?
Right. Absolutely. And again, too, some of the stuff that I guess we found out in the last episode, if you didn't watch that World Beyond, you wouldn't have known. But had you have watched it, I guess you would know kind of one of the...
And I wanted to because I was like, they're going to explain
some stuff.
What that is, but
did you
we just
send
couldn't
Adam
get
the
into
video
it.
that you sent?
I did send it to him, I think so.
But I was like, we just couldn't get into it. I was like...
Yeah, and Jada... It was actually 2 seasons, right?
Yes, it was.
But full season?
10 episodes, I think.
Jeez, I couldn't have watched 10 episodes of both of those.
And it was hard.
Yeah. And in the second season, Jadis comes out. So obviously, she returns here. And
which again, it's kind of like a character is like, ooh, great. We're supposed to be excited.
I really felt like when I saw that, I was like, well, whatever happens, I'll be able to look it up later and just find out.
I feel like after Negan being the bad guy, it's going to be tough to make a better bad guy.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think Alpha did a good job, but I
like the Whispers.
She's
I like that Whisperer saga.
Runner-up, I think, for Negan.
Definitely a good runner-up for sure. So what did you guys think about what was going on with Rick? So he's here with the CRM.
I was fine with this episode. I was like, okay, cool, we get a Rick episode. I was fine with it because I wanted to see what happened to him, and obviously they show him trying to escape, which we kind of figured. Right,
yeah.
I mean, we all kind of figure you'd be trying to escape here.
Which I was unhappy that he was unsuccessful every time.
Yeah, the man Rick Grimes is that like he's going to do whatever it takes to get back to his family, right? So we see that. I think in this first episode we see kind of one of the iconic happenings with the...
Yes, finally. I was like, oh, they're going to do it. Yeah. I was like, wow, okay.
So if you know the comic books...
he losed his hand like a long time ago.
Yeah, and he's had like, he's been one of like the handless people, like how Aaron doesn't have a hand. I mean, there's several people without a hand in The Walking Dead. But so I hated this part in this show though because you know what? Although it was I guess giving callback to the comic book, I told Amy while we were watching together. I said, why didn't he cut the fucking chain with the axe?
That's what I was thinking.
Why would you cut your hand off?
That's what I was thinking.
I've seen lots of like shows that I don't know if it's strong. I don't know if it's strong enough.
Maybe, but then it's like. It was so for nothing because he cuts his hand off in vain. He gets caught like right away, right after that.
Good job though on the sewing and cauterizing and all that.
Absolutely, yeah. And they even tell him, they're like, "Wow, you went to such lengths or whatever."
You know, one of the worst lines I heard on this episode, and it was Terry O'Quinn that delivers it. Right? He's like, "Rick, you try to escape like 4 or 5 times. Why do you want to be here?" And I looked at my wife like, "Did he just ask that? Like, he just he just said he tried escaping like 4 times. He doesn't want to be here.
I don't want to be here."
Like, it was such a it was like when you're sitting on the bench, he goes, "You tried escaping like 4 times. Why do you want to be here?" Like, what? No, I don't want to be here, motherfucker.
This does not look like a man that wants to be there. You know what I mean? So
cut my hand up.
So the whole A-B thing is right. Suppose like if you're in A, you have like leadership qualities, all that. They don't want that. They've already got that instilled. So they're like, they kill those people. If you're a B, it's like you can be a worker and you can work for like 6 years, pretty much like killing walkers at the fence. You do that for 6 years, then you get to like become a member of the community.
I missed all that.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds like a real shit job.
What else
and regulations.
What else is there to do? That's why I told my wife, I was like, what's left to do in a fucking world where it's nothing but zombies? I would be doing that all the time, killing zombies all the time.
Right.
That's what he was doing in the prison. A lot of
Yeah.
times they would send people out and kill the zombies.
So some of the other things I found out that were cool about that world beyond, and they talk a little bit about this towards the end of the show, but you know, again, Double A mentioned Terry O'Quinn, who plays like the Major General Beale or whatever. Right. That's his name in the show. And he's like the main guy that's over the CRM.
Which I'm like, why don't you just call yourself president? Or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Major
right?
General.
Like, everyone wants to be some type of military guy.
Yeah.
Is that the Sean Connery lookalike?
Yes, Amy was saying the Sean Connery.
I literally don't know anybody's name except for Rick and Michonne.
You know, that's what Christina said.
I told Charlie.
She goes, doesn't he have a Sean Connery look? I was like,
that's what I told you, right?
Yeah.
I was like, is this the wannabe Sean Connery?
And I told Double A, I was like, I kept trying to place him, and then Double A started naming some of his.
Well, I said the stepfather. I always refer to him as stepfather.
What was the other one you said though?
Tombstone. And
yeah, that's right. He's in
Silver
Tombstone.
Bullet.
Oh, that's right. He's in Tombstone. Yeah.
I forgot about Silver Bullet. I feel like he's in one of the.
I think he's in a lot of things, but he's never really like a main.
Isn't he the dad?
Just a stepfather.
Isn't he the dad in?
My
I'm
dad
trying to
owns
think
a
about the
dealership.
dad. Is he the dad in
Get it? Say it.
Cocktail?
Oh,
Elizabeth
I don't
Shue's
know.
dad?
I don't know.
He's like, how much is it going to take
Tom
me to
Cruise
leave my
movie.
daughter
I don't
alone
know.
or whatever? But okay,
Tom
I could be
Cruise
wrong.
in
But
Cocktail.
I remember this guy as being like a face in the '80s. Like, oh, that
I mean,
that guy's
Terry
in it.
O'Quinn's always like a good actor.
Yeah, good actor.
You know,
No doubt.
He always is.
But anyway, Beale is there.
Yeah, and they show like another character, Thorne. You know, it's a woman that's there too. That's kind of with Rick.
Yes.
They're not together.
No.
It's just, you know, they kind of been taken.
Yeah.
And then they introduce an Okafor.
Okafor, who's like their
kind of like what, number 2?
Yeah, I would say he's like number 2, and he's kind of like giving them like
but he has
guidance.
like you start finding out he kind of has different motives and different ideas for
The one
Rick.
that the Michonne kills.
Yes, yeah. And one of the things I found out too about the scientist that Beale mentions later in the show is that what they were trying to do is that apparently whatever makes the zombies come back to life, like reanimate, also slows their decomposition. So this is something new that we're learning, right? So what the scientists are working on, you know, that the CRM has, is they're working on either trying to speed up the decomposition process so that they can eventually rot out, because this will come into play later, or they're trying to, what's the other thing? It was the decomposition or slow, and they're trying to do that with the decomposition with yeast, using yeast somehow to make them decompose faster, or like at least at regular speed because they seem to last longer. The other thing that they're trying to either slow down or stop is the reanimation process. Like if you get bit, you know how long it takes you to reanimate, or you die naturally.
And in the Daryl show, they're trying to make them like where they can control them, right?
Yes.
In the Daryl show?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. And at the end of The Walking Dead proper, we see that they're kind of gaining. They can climb and they can open doors
Walk
now.
upstairs.
So they're gaining a little bit of like
upstairs.
they're adapting a little bit to, I guess, in the world that they're in. So these things are interesting and they'll come into play because what Terry O'Quinn reveals to Rick. Should I say this now? I should say it now, right?
Yes.
What he reveals to Rick is that he says, we realized with the 3 communities that existed that were left, Portland on the West Coast, in the Omaha in the Midwest, and then with us in Philadelphia, that there's still so many zombies that eventually
millions.
their resources will be depleted. So he goes, we destroyed Omaha, intentionally, and apparently there was a side community. Omaha was 1,000 people, 100,000 people, and then there was a side community where that college where they were at in the world beyond, that was 10,000 people. So 110,000 people, they killed them so they could get their resources and all that. But they blamed it on a herd of zombies.
Wow.
Yeah, because in 14 years, according to their scientists, in 14 years, humanity is going to be wiped out.
Yeah.
Completely. Because there's just millions of zombies that are just eventually going to overwhelm everyone.
But if they absorb the resources of these two remaining communities, then they'll be able to last longer until hopefully these scientists can figure it out. Which is totally fucked up. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, well, they managed to survive and are
that's supposed to be the
whatever.
echelon briefing.
I'm like, it's already the end of the world, motherfuckers. Like, I mean, it's the end of the world.
You're not even letting everyone have a chance to fend for themselves.
But now, it's kind of like, now you're kind of telling people, though, 14 years, that's how much you got. You're kind of telling a person, like, oh, you're going to die on this day.
Right.
Now you're kind of like, oh, shit,
But again, too, that I feel like that's a projected thing, but it's kind of like the Mad Max thing, right? It's like, you don't know how much more post-apocalyptic the world is going to get. I mean, like, there may be fewer communities or fewer large communities. See, they were there sustaining with, like...
I feel like they were adapting already for a long time already.
Well, not even that, but it's like, they have people, like, when you think about the Commonwealth, which they don't even mention in this one, but they have the Commonwealth. It's like, there's people that just, like, have regular jobs and fucking, like, eating ice cream and shit. I'm like, is all that as important as fucking, like, everyone should just be making bullets or whatever the fuck to go, like, behead these zombies or whatever,
True that.
Or at least these scientists in the World Beyond show were working on, like, two main things, which is one, like, stop or slow the reanimation process, or, make the zombies that are already out there decompose faster. Two good things. Remember, we had this conversation, too. We talked about, like I'm like, why aren't, like, the vultures and shit like that eating them? Like, where are the animals? Or, like, how come these aren't getting picked apart faster? So these are two good things, I think, to be thinking about. But, yeah. Also, too, I feel like this show, and maybe if they would have been focusing on it, I wouldn't have liked it as much, but, like... They didn't make me, like, I did not like the Terry O'Quinn character, but they also didn't make him nefarious enough throughout. Like, I kind of learned
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of weird. Like, I mean, like, the governor was badass. Mm-hmm. Negan was badass, and I liked Alpha, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, some of these other characters that they've tried making, it just doesn't hit.
Right. And maybe they felt like...
as much.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe they overtly make them evil.
Right, right.
Yeah, and it's like, man,
like where you're just supposed to hate them right away.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think after Negan, there was besides Alpha, everything in between and before and after was just, the bad guys were not as good.
Yeah, and maybe they felt too like, well, if we give too much of that story and not enough Rick and Michonne, people are going to be pissed off. Like, let's just give the payoff that people have been wanting, which is like, what's been up with Rick, what's been up with Michonne.
I would have been okay with 10 episodes.
Yeah, I mean, 10 would have been fine, you know what I mean? But
or maybe it was Andrew Lincoln, too. Maybe it was them two, too. They're like, you know what, we only want to do 6.
Yeah, let's just cut to the chase. It's not, maybe they even thought, like, it's not really about the bad guy. It's ultimately about how
it's how we're going to connect again and return.
Right, right. And ultimately do the Rick and Michonne bit they do, which is kick-ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard them two were heavily involved.
Oh,
too.
Yeah, they're executive
with the whole
producers,
process.
right?
No, but in terms of like the direction they wanted to go too, they were pretty heavily involved in all that.
And I didn't know that. So
which, awesome. Yeah, because it like at the end of the episodes, they would kind of go into like little clips of them two talking.
Damn, you don't get that on YouTube TV. That must have been like you're watching it on Hulu?
AMC Plus.
Oh, that's what you got.
Yeah, so they kind of talk about how...
We should have been coming over here to watch it with,
I know,
with that. Oh.
Yeah, because you can see it any time on Sunday. You don't even have to wait until 8. You can... like me and Christina were watching like as soon as we woke up.
We should come when the new season comes out then.
The next one.
Yeah, that'd so they're saying pretty much like, they were kind of on board and they kind of were there too, part of the writing process, and telling them, awesome. This is where we want to go. This is what we want the characters to go.
Yeah, that's great, especially when
the happy ending was them.
Oh, that's
They're
awesome.
like, I want this happy ending. Like that's what Andrew Lincoln said. He was like, I don't want to just waste this.
It's been a long wait for that.
Yeah. And he was like, no, I want this to finally end.
Well, you also don't want to go the way of fucking Game of Thrones.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, man, it's completely fucked.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Which, and we'll get to this. There were parts where I felt like I was like, I'm intensely mad at you, Rick Grimes, and I'm like, what the fuck is your problem?
They're like the writing, right? Again,
but that was his Rick character.
But it's like,
yes, it
was.
Like, again, it's like this guy's escaping, and then you finally have a chance at no.
Right.
I gotta say, like, what?
Yeah.
But he had good reason, you know. I think Michonne just needed to knock some sense in.
I was like, where's Shane? I was like, how come they killed Shane? How come they didn't kill Rick? Like, that's what I was thinking.
Hey, meanwhile, I was like, you know me, I'm always like, man, why is Negan out to be over there in New York, man?
Like, I forgot what I was watching, but I was watching a clip where Shane kills Otis. I was like, man, I missed that.
Man, fucking Shane, man, that bastard.
When he feeds those hungry zombies, big Otis.
Fuck, man, when he busts open fucking Herschel's barn and just starts going ham on the zombies, I was like, man, that's fucked up, Shane. So basically what we're kind of talking about here is that Rick, he's been there at this compound. He finally decides to like just be like, after, I guess he's there like 6 years, right? Like,
yeah,
that's pretty much the whole time.
Yes.
So he's there and he's like, you know, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just play ball, right? You know what I mean? Like, finally, maybe I'll like learn, work my way up, you know.
Well, I think he realized that might be his out, is if he does join up with them.
Yeah.
And
maybe eventually I can
play house with them.
Yeah. Right. And they teach him to fly helicopters, and he's getting some cool like tactical gear, and he's got this one friend, and then he's got this Okafor guy, right?
And
Which is like,
cool
whatever. Right. So
did you like the Okafor character?
At first, no, but then it kind of grew on me when I felt like...
I liked him right away.
Right away?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like when he was like, oh, like there's more that we can be doing, things like that, I was like, okay, I'm going to get into this character.
He saw how bad it was. Like,
right.
Like, really?
I really didn't care for anybody else except for like
well, and we'll talk
Rick
about...
and Michonne.
We'll talk about episode 2 because I think you might... Maybe
no, because like Okafor was the only one. Like, I didn't like Thorne. Me and Christina hated Thorne.
Yeah.
We were like, man, she's really getting fucking annoying.
The chick that was...
and
I believe she
know
was...
her from...
oh, you know
Lucifer,
her from something
right?
else.
Lucifer, yeah.
Oh,
which I fucking love her. She plays Mazikeen.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember Sandman, Charlie. That character.
That character.
I
the one that's with Lucifer.
I fucking love her in that show. She's badass.
She is good in that show.
Yeah.
She is good, but she was really annoying in this one. And we're saying too.
And I couldn't really understand. That's not her real accent.
No, it's not. No.
So I'm not saying she did a horrible job, but I couldn't understand.
She's supposed to be South Africa.
From South Africa.
Yeah, it was really hard to understand a lot of the time.
Do you know what her actual background is? Like, what does she normally sound? What does she sound like in Lucifer?
Well, in Lucifer, she sounds
like
normal.
English.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I don't know if.
Shit, maybe this is her real voice.
I know. It was so good we couldn't understand what you were saying.
Hey, and I agree. Some parts were hard to understand. And like Amy likes to watch.
I always put captions.
She likes to watch a caption. I don't like
a caption person.
Why not? Because you can actually see more.
Well, the thing is that and really, I've never liked them or whatever because I'm one to rather turn it up. I'll turn it all the way up. But then when I started watching stuff with Khalil, with my nephew, he started saying, he goes, man, don't you feel like sometimes the captions kind of spoil it because the words come up before they actually say it? And I was like, yeah, it does. And I'll find myself reading, and then I'm like, this is about to happen. He's about to say this.
But they'll be like, the TV's on in the background, right? But we're not really paying attention to it. But the fucking captions will cover what the TV's actually saying. I'm like, holy shit, they're talking about it on there.
Right.
I was like, shit, okay.
You know, I would say this. When it's something I've seen already, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care at all. And I might pick something up extra.
But sometimes, like, in our household, there's, like, talking
is South
and
African.
moving.
Wow, she really is.
Well, she was born in Cape Town.
That's South Africa for sure.
South Africa, but... let me see.
So then maybe her accent... I wonder if that's her real accent.
No, maybe she's trying to do an accent. Because I thought he does say she's something else in the show, like Peruvian or something like that. I thought they talked about that. No, maybe I made that up. I made that up, probably.
Wow, okay, never mind.
Well, her English is really good then in Lucifer.
Yes, it is.
Because she's fucking like, you can't tell.
It says here she's a South African and American actress. So I don't know.
Okay, so maybe her accent isn't that heavy. But maybe she knows it that well that's why I couldn't understand her because it was too fucking good.
But the character was supposed to be... In the show, the character's supposed to be from South Africa?
That's what they're saying.
Okay. I want to say that's probably her accent, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But I do agree that Amy's right. Like, I was trying to not... we didn't have the captions on, so...
Yeah.
Sometimes it was a little bit difficult to understand, but that aside... the whole first episode is about Rick, and it's about...
Which, again, I was fine with. I was like, cool. It's been a while. It's been, like, what, almost 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Plus, whatever it is,
he's been away for a while.
5 years, probably, whatever it was. Because, remember, they're supposed to do movies. Remember, after The Walking Dead was supposed to finish, they were supposed to do, actually, theatrical movies.
Right.
It was going to be like a trilogy of Rick movies.
Yeah.
And they never got around to it.
Yeah.
Oh, the movie. Okay,
yeah.
But again, I feel like the audience was built through TV, so maybe this did work out better.
This would have been better on TV. That's why I couldn't believe it when they're actually talking about movies.
Especially with the AMC Plus being one of their platforms. Yeah. They want to sell that. You put it on there. You offer it up early. But the real cool part is at the end of episode 1, right? So we've kind of learned where Rick's been, what he's been up to. We meet the Okafor character. We meet... What's her name again? The character?
Thorne.
We meet her character. And then, Rick's on this helicopter mission or whatever, and he's just kind of talking with Okafor about... They're pretty much talking about, like, hey, like, this is what I want to do. He wants to get Thorn and...
He wants to change.
Rick over and create change.
He doesn't believe in that echelon shit.
Yes.
Because I think he's the one that bombed.
Yes.
Or was he? Or...
After.
Well, they say that...
Because he had a wife.
Yeah.
And I think he said he bombed it with
yeah,
her
he killed
there.
his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I probably didn't really like him, because I was like, really?
That might have been why I didn't like him either. Yeah.
But then he was kind of like, he finally came to his senses and been like, no, this whole shit's wrong. Like, this whole echelon briefing is wrong.
Right, absolutely. Where you're pretty much going to know that you're going to blow up another town of people just to take their resources.
I just hate the whole concept of the whole, like, military thing, too. Like, we've already seen that in this show.
Right.
And
well, essentially what this was like a larger scale version of what we see throughout the show's entirety, which is like people trying to take other people's shit. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's just, somebody always thinks that they're making things better in that world by doing shit like this, and I'm like, it never ends well. Because you're doing it all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when you say the military aspect, are you referring to like the Commonwealth people that we saw at the end of the regular?
Well, yeah, just like everybody always wants to have fucking like just like they want to take over, like even with what do we mention? What do we call him?
The governor.
The governor, like even his deal, like just everyone they want to have like a type of like military type.
It's like you said, TM. It's like, why aren't people making bullets? They can send these platoons out, like city or state by state, like go down. Yeah, and wipe out shit,
It seems like there's a big focus throughout the show.
Like establish the coast again.
Right.
Do some fishing where you won't run out of supply.
Yeah,
that's what everyone should be working on. It should be more tribal, like a tribe mentality, like
you
the
have
Native
plenty
Americans.
of resources now. You know
like,
what I mean?
Instead, they're very focused on getting back to what the world was. I'm like, that's gone. It will never be like it was
and
before.
I think that in the show there's too many fears of things running out.
Yeah.
So that's why they can't focus on working together.
Like the factories are still there.
Right.
I'm sure you guys have engineers.
Right. Yeah. There's probably manuals and people to learn. I mean, like the fact that like in the fucking Commonwealth, when it's like there's like, oh, we're trying to have like a newspaper and radio station, and you have like an ice cream shop. I'm like, why the fuck are you focused on that? Isn't that a waste of resources? Like, you need to be adapting to the new world and not trying to recreate the old world. Like that's fucking stupid.
Like, what was that other military type deal with the ones that had like they looked like stormtroopers outfits? That was another military group.
That was the Commonwealth.
Was that the Commonwealth? Oh,
yes.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm just like it's
where Mercer had the orange.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mercer had the orange. Yeah. But anyway, as Rick and Okafor are talking at the end of this episode, his freaking chest explodes or whatever, and
that was crazy. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, you're like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, and especially since you said you liked the character.
Yeah,
right?
I was like, damn. Well.
And I was like, yeah, you the first to go, motherfucker.
And I was like, and I thought too, I was like, well, you're out of Rick's hair now, you know what I mean? So then the chopper goes down, then you just see the other CRM guys that are with Rick start to get fucking killed. And then it looks like he's about to get his, and who do we see? He gets unmasked, and who is it? That's fucking Michonne. So you're like, oh shit, they saw each other. So now you're like, fuck, I fucking can't wait to see what happens next. What they're going to talk about.
Spoiler,
but before we know what they're going to talk about, we had to get the classic Sky Gimple solo Michonne episode. So here comes episode 2, and it's all about what Michonne's been doing on her journeys to
But
find.
were we not asking about that the whole time we were watching the Rick episode?
Like, what have they been doing? Yeah, what has she been doing? What has she been doing?
Like, where's Michonne?
I really feel like you could have cut this, intercut this episode.
You really could have.
I guess I'm not the editor.
Leave him alone.
So, what do we find out that Michonne's been doing, guys?
She's been tracking him.
Yeah, she's been looking for him, hunting for him.
Right. Trying to find clues, trying to find ways to get, wherever to get.
Her last episode of The Walking Dead, she finds clues that Rick's still alive. With the phone and the bag and the note.
Yeah, the boots.
Yeah. So that's what gives her hope all over again.
And some of the things that we saw in some of the shows that have passed already, thank you, is that like we see this really badass image of her in this like armor, like up against this horde. So you're like, what the fuck's gonna happen here? And when does that come into play? So we find out, what Michonne has been up to. There are some side characters here, right? We meet. She helps some people.
Nat, Aiden, Bailey, Ellie.
Which I was like, they were gone pretty quickly.
And how about this? Check this out. The guy the black dude is played, I believe, by he's a famous YouTuber, famous TikToker, famous. He goes by the name, I forget his real name, but his name in online is
Andrew Bachelor King Bach.
Yeah, King Bach. Okay. Yeah, and check this out. This is a little bit for you, Double A, and maybe for you too, sis. But our good friend, San Antonio comedian Nene, Andrew Benitez, just posted on his social media that him and King Bach have been messaging about doing a collab next time that he's in LA. So pretty cool little connection here. You know, potentially one of our San Antonio TikTokers could be working with King Bach, who is a huge online presence. And how
TikTok
cool for him
account. He has 28 million. He has a YouTube channel with 3.5 million subscribers.
What's his name? I don't remember if I've seen some of his stuff.
He did
His
some
videos
stuff
are funny.
for,
You have.
He did some Adult Swim stuff for Black Jesus.
Okay.
He did say he had roles in Meet the Blacks and 50 Shades of Black.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, he's already done some shit.
And that's the path, you know what I mean? Like, you know, now it seems like, you know, you get this online presence, you get these online fans, and his videos are funny, and then you move you move on to the you know, getting into the acting or whatever. And I thought he did really well in this small role he had. He did a good job.
Yeah.
Pretty much these people that aren't as well adjusted to being on the outside, I would say.
No, they're not.
That's him, right?
They're mobile, right?
Yeah, they're mobile.
That's him, yeah. Yeah, so like episode 2, like she hooked up with these people just to give her like a little help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this reminded me a little bit, Double A, of what we saw in Twisted Metal, right? Where it's like, you know, in Twisted Metal they're in these rigs.
That's what I thought too. I was like,
did
they get that from Twisted Metal?
Yeah.
I was like,
But this, you know, of course, very different than The Walking Dead. They're like in like cars that are pulled by horses. I guess it's got them like, you know, the back half of the car, carriages type stuff, and they're pretty much a large caravan of people that keep moving. I forget what they say why. And Nat is the little person, right?
Yes, Nat. And the engineer.
Yes. And he seemed like a lot of fun because he, you know, liked to blow shit up, and he was.
Well, they meet because Michonne helps them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she saves them too, the couple.
Right.
And then she takes them back to that community.
Right, because she needs a little bit of help.
Yeah, and right away that community is like, they want to recruit Michonne, and she's like, look, I'm on my own personal mission.
I'm on a mission.
I'm not trying to help you guys out like that. But she seems to like, you know, these people that she's met, the 3 people, especially Nat, who is, again, he's a little person, but he's very, you know, spunky and creative. He seems to be one of their, like Double A said, engineers that's helping build weapons and things like that. These characters didn't grow on you, sis? I know you said didn't like anybody else but Rick and Michonne.
No, yeah, those characters, I was sad when they were no longer a part of the show.
Right. And so, of course, being that they're not as well adapted, you know, to the world, you know, it seems like that they're in, which is kind of unbelievable.
I mean,
at this
good on
point.
them. I mean, for a living, you know, and making it. You know, so.
Is she pregnant?
Yes.
She's pregnant, right? The girl?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So I mean, like, that's always
because
sad.
Yeah, that sucks.
But take us through Double A. What how it plays out.
I mean, you know, eventually it's her and Nat, right? Because everyone else dies. She runs into this huge ass horde.
Yes.
That was a cool scene.
Yes.
They kill Nat, which I was freaked out about. I was like, oh, okay, so they're all gone. Like, they introduce characters and then boom, get them out.
Right.
You know, and then her and Rick, you know, teaming, finding each other again.
What did you think about Double A, the part though that's like part of her story, part of Michonne's story? And sis, I want to hear your thoughts on this too. But when eventually the guy we mentioned, King Bot, and the wife or girlfriend, they get killed by the zombies, right? The zombies get killed. It just
the wife, she gets bit first, I think, right?
Yeah.
Which she's pregnant, which sucks because you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I guess.
And then she's in bed.
Yeah.
Right, they put her in bed,
well,
right?
Because Michonne tells him that she's probably she's gonna turn.
And
so
then he's like, I'll do it, right? But I don't think he does.
No, yeah. So he turns.
He turns.
So Michonne's like, fuck.
Which I was like, Dawn of the Dead. Like, okay.
Yeah. And so it's just ends up being Michonne and Nat for a little bit, but then they get hit with this fucking like mustard gas, right?
Yeah, real bad.
And you know, they didn't really say.
Well, that was before, like when they were all alive.
No, they weren't all alive for that part, were they? I don't know.
Yeah, because that's how she.
That's how they get sick.
They get sick or whatever, and then.
But it is them two for a little while. She gets in that.
Yeah.
But that's like right before the end of the episode.
Yeah, they're suffering the effects still.
Well, because we find out that
they're trying to recover, but then the wife gets bit, so then her and the husband die, and then Michonne saves Nat basically.
And they're living in like that department store.
They're living in the department store because they can't breathe, so they need to get better.
Right.
And they're there for like 6
No,
months?
it's a whole year. Later on, Michonne says she's like, she tells Jada, she's like, you cost me a whole year with my kids.
Right.
Your fucking people, the CRM people, were
hunting us.
What were they doing? Were they hunting them, or were they just bombing random communities?
Well, yeah,
because I don't think they were on
bombed that
their
community
radar.
where they were walking through, so they got fucking stuck in that shit.
Yeah.
And they got all fucked
Yeah.
up. So it was their fault still that, you know.
They probably kill people too that get close.
I would think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this whole CRM thing, which we learned from the Rick episode, is that no one can leave because no one can talk about it. No one can ever mention where they are because they don't want people coming. They don't want people finding them. All this shit, right? They're very like, if you're in, then you're in forever and you never get out. Almost the opposite, right? Double A of what we saw in like Twisted Metal. That post-apocalyptic world. Yeah, you're essentially in a prison. And we still haven't seen Jadis yet to this point in the show because we're, like I said, we did a Rick episode.
She is in episode 2.
Oh, she comes out in episode 2.
Yeah, she comes out at the end.
At the end.
Yeah,
to talk to Rick.
Yeah, Rick is confronted by Jadis, who recognizes Michonne and threatens them that, you know, if they run off together, she'll tell them all about Alexander.
Little
Yes.
bitch.
Yeah. So
I'm sure Charlie loved her even more.
Oh yeah, no. I was like, please let this fucking bitch die. That is what I'm waiting for.
I think that was one of the
die.
first
You know,
things I
Jesus.
mentioned was her haircut. I was like,
I know.
that chili bowl?
I mean, even
Yeah,
the
her
fact,
whole hairstyles
I was
are
like,
just
that's
sucked.
what they gave her?
the fact that she had fucking lived, like I was like, she lived from the original show. I was like, you lived. I was like, of all the fucking people that Negan could have bashed their brains.
Well,
in,
she was going to live because she took Rick, so.
Father Gabriel was protecting her.
Yeah, I guess. I was like, man, you know, divine interventions. So it
Oh,
was.
wow.
So Michonne and Nat survived the mustard gas, but then we see that leading up to the part where we're gonna get to to Michonne, we're leading up to the end of episode 1, right, where she's gonna encounter Rick. So it's like we're gonna get to that part, right? And we see that it's her and Nat that have these fucking like he makes these missiles and shit, and she's like, "Fuck these helicopter people that fucking cost me a year of my life with their gas. I'm gonna kill all these motherfuckers." She easily cuts her way through the apparently elite force, and right as she's about to fucking kill Rick, you know, she takes off his mask and sees that it's fucking Rick, and it's like, oh my fucking god.
I knew that she was probably going to check his mask, though. Like, I
Yeah.
think she was going to check everybody's, probably, if they were alive still.
And she told this story to Nat about, you know, what she was trying to do and what she was trying to accomplish. And he kind of had different thoughts on it. He was like, you know, people change, you know what I mean? Like, and she's like, not us, not this guy. And he's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, let me tell you, like, you know, it is what it is. And he gets shot by a fucking rando guy that's not all the way dead yet, that Michonne didn't fully fucking kill. So he gets blown away. That guy Nat's dead or whatever.
I was like, what the fuck?
And I'm thinking, my first thought right here, I'm like, you got fucking shot down. Michonne's got him to herself. You know, they can make a getaway.
Get
right?
away.
They can get away. Because even in the first episode, one of Rick's cool plots was he had this whole good fucking idea, right? With the put the body in there and burn it and then in my clothes. And I was like, that's a
Right.
good plan, Rick. Look at you. But then he fucks
But then he
that
becomes
up.
Rick again.
Yeah, then becomes Rick again. And again, Double A and like, you know, our guest from, was it last week, Double A? Back to you, Jack. You know, we used to all talk Walking Dead together, and they were always been anti-Rick, just saying that he's a horrible leader. And I used to be like, no, I used to
Terrible.
be a defender of Rick. But this show
Terrible.
almost had me on the fence, sis. I don't know. I was like, what the fuck are you
I've
doing,
always
been
man?
50-50
Like,
with
what are
Rick.
you doing? And I've been almost like 80%, 90% Rick.
I
And
was like, Negan's a better leader than this dude.
I gotta say, man, I
Man,
gotta
Rick
say,
went through a lot.
I agree with Double A on this. I was like, my Rick love and stock actually dropped in this show. Where I was like, Rick, you come on, man. I dressed as you for Halloween, bro. You gotta fucking step it up. I was like, this dude is fucking like,
You know, I
Screw
always
the
tell
pooch.
people, I'm like, no, CM didn't dress up like Rick. He dressed up like Shane.
Fuck.
there we go. I'm gonna redo the outfit with the ball cap. My ball caps. Later on, I did do Negan though, so that's where we step it up to the right leader,
Whew,
like
hey,
right,
you're hot on that one.
right leadership. Yeah, definitely steaming inside of that costume. So take me up to that point, guys, in the episode, because I don't remember. Is it at the very end where Jadis comes in? Like, because
Yeah, it's the very end. Yeah.
he sees Michonne. They're shocked to see each
It's
other.
pretty much her episode almost ends like.
Well, yeah, because
that.
the other helicopters are coming, and Rick's like,
Yeah.
you gotta be like my prisoner. kind
Right,
of,
that's what he
that's
says.
about it. Yeah.
You know, and then they're gonna interview
Okay.
you, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that,
Yeah.
and that's when.
Yes, and then Jadis
sees-
comes in to talk to Rick, and
Yes.
she's like, "Oh, okay,
And that's the
like
end of
don't be,
the-
yeah." So you kind of get the feeling right there that like she has him by the balls a little bit. So okay, so that moves us quickly to episode 3, and again, guys, 6 episodes, so it's super fast.
Yeah, it starts with the flashback. See him with Jadis,
Mhm.
where she's sitting in the town where Rick finally can walk around.
Yes, he runs into her.
Oh, that's right.
Which
That's
I'm
right.
sure CM was like, oh, great, another Jadis.
Yeah, I was like, of all the fuck, I would have taken more alpha, more beta. I would have taken a fucking governor flashback. I'm
Hell
like,
yeah.
give me something else. You know what I mean? I'm
We
like,
got Jadis.
this bitch. I'm like, man, she sucks.
Give me
so
zombie
bad.
Merle.
Give me zombie
Damn.
fucking Merle. Yes, I'll fucking take Michael Rooker any day of the week. I'm like, oh, that shit blows, man. I'm like, anyway, so they
She
chit
wanted to
chat.
blow somebody, I'll tell you that.
Have we gotten to where Rick is having the flashbacks with him and Michonne kind of talking on the outside world?
This probably, I think, would be the one.
This is the one, okay, right? Where
Yeah.
you can see that he's kind of been sustaining himself through these like dreams he's having of like seeing Michonne in like a park in like a normal.
You know what? That's
world.
episode 2, actually.
Oh, maybe it's episode
Yes.
2. Okay,
Because
okay.
he tells her that he's having the dream.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because that's when he's thinking about when he's trying to escape. I
Yeah.
think all his attempts to escape.
Probably a lot of jerk off time.
Yeah, I would think so. Well, I mean, pretty much he's imagining like, man, what if I would have met her like in a normal world? Like they meet on a park bench. It's kind of romantic.
Yeah, because she was like, what, a big time lawyer? Right?
I guess. Oh, that's what she was. I don't think I knew
that's
that.
what she was.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I gotta go
there-
back to like the first couple
Yeah,
of
I-
episodes.
Shit, I can't even remember what she said. She tells
I'm sure
Carl
she
at one
does.
point. I think she
Yeah,
tells Carl
I'm
at one
sure
point
they all
what
do.
she
They
was. Yeah.
say.
If anybody knows that, let me know that because I don't know that. But yeah, so now like Double A says, it starts with this flashback.
Yeah, in the comics, she's a former lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah. And she had 2 daughters.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why she was so ruthless with the sword. She was like, shit, I'm gonna kill her. That's why she had to wear my girl today, man. See, Michonne right there. It's like, but yeah, Double A. So talk about the flashback. He encounters Jadis. They kind of have a snarky back and forth because she's like, well, I saved you and I brought you here to this great place. And he's like, bitch, you know, you took me away from like people I loved and cared about. And I had my own shit going. You could have took me back to Alexandria. She knew she'd been there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, so.
But wait,
yeah.
she didn't want to go back empty-handed?
No,
I don't know
because they
what
wouldn't
the
take her in.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck her deal was, man. And also, she was like, how were they letting her operate that junk fucking place?
Right,
And she
and then-
knew them. I thought they were like wiping out people that they didn't.
And then
like.
I mean, if they wouldn't have taken her back, I'd be like, well, fuck, I'm gonna make amends with Rick and them and go fucking Alexandria then. Like, what the fuck? Like,
Which we come to understand by like episode 4 is that was, or is it 4 or 5? She kind of was having these going back and forth
right?
with fucking
She was
Father
already
Gabriel. So I'm like, why are you such a fucking dumb skank? Like you make me sick. I
think she
hate
was
you.
power hungry.
I don't even know what she was hungry for. Like I felt like she tried to
A
make.
little bit of Father Gabriel. She was a little hungry for him.
Yeah, definitely
So
that.
that
yeah.
dark chocolate.
She wanted the holy
The one
sausage.
eye, yeah.
Holy-
the
Yeah.
one eye.
She wanted to be a
sausage.
holy roller.
She wanted the other the other one-eyed bald guy.
Fuck, man.
Just now we do all at the Collecting Weekly, guys, and then now watch this, guys. Yeah, no doubt. Jadis was a thirsty bitch and was horny for Father Gabriel.
And Rick at first.
Yeah, I think she wanted to fuck Rick too.
Yeah,
there was
she did.
definitely those
Rick
vibes.
was
I was
like,
like, don't
nah.
nobody want you, bitch.
Yeah.
You lived in trash.
Oh, Gabriel, damn it.
He was like, I like
Well, what
it
was he
though.
up to, man? He better not have been cheating on Rosita,
I think
that
he
dumb
was.
fucker. See, this doesn't paint Gabriel in a good light, and I hope he gets eaten too. Did he die?
Damn, no.
Fuck,
Damn.
man. Of all the people that live, he lives. Eugene lives.
Yeah, that's
Like-
right. Jadis.
The end of the world needed to be like Rick, Michonne, Daryl, Carol, and
Fuck,
Negan.
man.
So, yeah. So he runs into
Yeah,
fucking
so
her.
this episode is pretty much the whole back and forth of I
Him
can't leave, but we can leave. We can get out, but I can't.
But for good reason.
Yeah, because
Because
he's
we
like,
find out later on that that bitch really did have dirt on them.
yeah, because what Rick says, okay, you gotta go and you can't show that you're strong. You can't show that. Impossible for Michonne, right?
Right.
Like, how am I gonna?
She did good for like a
I
day
cannot
or
be
two.
dumb and inept, and like, she's fucking wrecking it. And what do we
Oh.
see, right? Like at one point we see this record on the wall, which is like says Grimes, and I guess it was like the most kills that day or whatever.
Yeah.
I kept thinking at one point we were gonna see like her made up name and it be like she broke his record or
What
some
was it?
shit.
Barbara?
Terry?
Dana?
Deborah? Dana?
Dana?
Dana? No,
I made that up.
no, that was too close to her real name. I don't know, whatever. They give some fake name or whatever.
Right.
But
Rachel.
immediately she starts to show like leadership qualities that she's a badass.
Well,
The
'cause
Thorn
Rick pushed
chick
her
is
off.
like, it's like, she's...
Yeah, which I'm like, man, don't tell me you want to blow Rick too. I was like, God.
I was
wait.
kind of thinking that.
I kinda thought
I
that
was like,
too.
because she's like, she gets like real jealous of Michonne, and she wants to kill Michonne, and like,
Like, these
future
these
time.
bitches acting like Rick the only dick in the afterlife. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, why doesn't anyone fucking blow, what's his name? Terry O'Quinn.
right?
He's a leader, right? He's a leadership guy. I was like,
Shit.
shit, not even Okafor was getting no ass. I'm
Because
like,
Yeah.
women want a man that doesn't want them.
Yeah, Rick definitely didn't want them.
He didn't want Jadis and he didn't want Thor.
And they kept seeing him try to get away too. They're like, man, he's always trying to fucking leave, man. Like, what's out there?
They're like, no, you're staying here. I'm gonna get that.
They're like, damn, man. They're like, that pussy he's going after must be great that he's trying to get out there for. And they're right, because Michonne's fucking badass. I mean, like, she's fucking amazing.
I love Michonne.
Yeah, I love the part too where Jadis is like, I know that you two together can do anything. And I'm like, that's like fucking like a power statement, right? Like, fuck. Like, she's like, I didn't believe that you guys separate could do anything, but together, you're unstoppable.
I think that's why she was more threatened, obviously.
Yeah, definitely more threatened.
Once Michonne got to him, she's like, how the fuck?
Yeah, so Michonne right away is like, okay, I fucking found you, you're alive. Like, that's got to be incredible in this fucking apocalypse world. So she's like, damn, we're golden now, let's go. And he's all like, whoa, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
for good reason.
Right. Yes, because Jadis has already told him that, look, if you ever try to leave, I will tell everyone about it.
Which at first I thought it was just some bullshit bluff. I was like, she just wants to fucking
I thought it was a bluff too.
Well, I was thinking too, I was like, are they even in Alexandria anymore?
Right.
And I was like, I thought they had moved to the Commonwealth area.
Right.
You know, so I was like, oh.
But I think some people were behind, like Maggie
But I was like, oh man, that'd be cool. Like, this bitch is thinking they're still in Alexandria, but when they actually go back, they're going to be like, oh, it's not around. They moved Commonwealth.
And even then, you mean to tell me that, like she said, Rick and Michonne could do anything together? They couldn't have prepared the community for this coming, like, okay, like, let's evacuate for like 2 weeks into the woods, the surrounding areas, and then we'll come back. You know what I mean? Like, they could have thought, or even saying, hey, let's go to the Commonwealth for a little bit and then come back, because apparently it gets under better control, right? Do you guys have an idea or a semblance of like how the timeline is going?
Well, by that point, I mean,
that's already all over. Like,
it should already have been the whole Commonwealth shit, I would think.
Yeah, like at this point, it should be.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, this bitch doesn't know that they moved.
Right.
You know that they're probably not even there.
Because Mercer's now the #1 guy. Or no, it's Ezekiel. Is it Ezekiel? No, Mercer.
That's right. They get
their code.
Ezekiel.
See, I don't remember, and I watched it like I said more recently than y'all probably did, and I fucking can't remember.
But I think they're running it together. It's like Ezekiel and Mercer. Which
that's what I'm saying. With the Walking Dead, there's a lot of stories, so it's like you got to keep your shit.
Right.
It's got to be fresh, like last week.
No doubt. But go ahead, Double A. So kind of take us through the paces of the rest of this episode. It's like a back and forth between Rick and Michonne. She's like, what the fuck?
And then Thorne gets an echelon briefing, so now she's all on board. Mm-hmm. She was like, Okafor was stupid for trying to talk us out of this, so she's like big time CRM
She drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, she drank the Kool-Aid.
Is this also the episode Double A where Rick leads Michonne to like this escape and then it's just for her?
Yes.
And he even brings her the sword.
But this is the part too where Thorne is trying to carry that fucking big ass thing and she can't. Mm-hmm. And then she's almost getting overrun and Michonne does.
She gets all pissed.
Yeah, she's all stop.
And I'm like, bitch, she's helping you survive.
And then that's when she almost. That's what Rick is like seeing to her, like where he's like, whoa, what the fuck you doing?
Yeah. And he's like, I told you not to show like these qualities, or whatever. And she's like, pretty much like, can't deal with the ineptness of this fucking group. So she's like, fuck. Well,
she was also mad at Rick because he tried to make her leave.
Yes. So this part super pissed me off, Double A. I don't know how you felt about it, sis. I want to hear your thoughts. But she's like, meet me here, blah blah. So Michonne goes. There's this fucking raft. This great escape plan, and then this note that like, if you love me, you'll leave. And I'm like, motherfucker, she left your kids. Yep. She's been out in the wilderness to find you. Yep. She finds you. You think she's going to walk away? Of all the people you thought were going to walk away, you thought Michonne was going to walk away?
Yeah.
And what was cool is he even had the sword for her because her sword obviously got taken from her. He had to tell her, like, I've got to hold on to the sword until... So it's like, you're like, oh, she's reunited with the sword, which... You know, I think on one of the Talking Deads, one of the actresses that was there, I think it was that... I can't remember her name, but she was like, you know, their weapons are like totems. They're like power to them. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Rick with the revolver, Michonne the sword, Daryl the crossbow, and obviously the characters kind of moved on from those things because things have happened. But you know, you're like, yeah, like Michonne with the sword is like, oh shit. But then you know, the next day, you know, Rick sees her back at work, whatever, and he's like, I fucking told you to go. And I'm like, don't be mad at her. You're fucking stupid to even think that. I'd be like, you do not think I came all this way to leave you here. You know what I mean? Like, that's not gonna fucking happen. Like, you must not know me. So at this point, you feel like, oh, he's broken. Like, Rick got broken by these people. So, you know, now Michonne's quest is like, well, I got you back in a sense, but now I've got to get you your body back, but I got to get your mind back, you know?
You better get your mind right.
So go ahead, Double A. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No. That's about it for that one. They're still fighting. They're in a helicopter, and that's when she grabs him and
Yes, that part was fantastic too. Okay, so real quick, let me hear your thoughts, Double A, on how you felt about the whole. Rick
and he
sets
got
up,
promoted, so that's why they were in the helicopter.
Yeah, but why Rick sets up Michonne to leave? How did you feel about that part?
Oh, I hated it.
It's just
I
like,
hated it. I was stupid. I was like, I'm gonna leave.
Right.
You know, this bitch can tell me all she wants that she's gonna destroy Alexandria. I'm gonna leave then. I'm gonna get my family out of there.
I mean, I think even early on, Michonne's like, okay, so we kill her. He's like, oh, we can't because she's got this dossier.
Yeah,
They're all up on the dossier. And I'm like,
how important
she did
is
have
this
it,
bitch?
though.
I know she had it, but then when she hid it, it's like, how the fuck were they going to find it? I bet when someone dies, they just clean out those rooms and give it to the next person in line.
They probably going to throw that wired up cat
away. One of her fucking shit art. Her art was fucking worse than fucking Delia Dietz. I was like,
whoa. Way too far.
Sis, what did you think about Rick's attempt to send Michonne away?
Well, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with y'all, but I think the main reason, I think Rick he had already seen and lived there with them for 6 years, right? We know that. So he's already seen what they're capable of and what they can do, and I think he was like, well, yeah, like convinced that, like, no, they will find us and they will kill us, and I don't want that for us, so I want to protect what I have, and if that means me staying, then. But yes, I'm like 50-50 because he had to have known. It's Michonne. She's not just gonna fucking leave.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was thinking of them, like, fuck, like, these people I know who they are and what they can do, and I don't want them to do that. And the only way for me to prevent that from happening is to stay.
So then he gets a promotion, like Double A said. They go on this helicopter ride. I forget why Michonne is there. He selects her or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that what happens? Yeah. And in fucking excellent fucking Michonne fashion, which raised her stock so much for me. She's like, you keep being a fucking straight up bitch. She's like, I'll
he was just being stubborn. And
he's
she was like,
I'll give us a solution right now. She fucking opens the door to the helicopter. Are they over water? They're over water, right? She grabs his ass and they fucking and throws him out the fucking helicopter. I was like, damn. If that ain't fucking low, I don't know what is. I was like, that was fucking cool.
She was like, if anybody gonna kill you, it's gonna be me.
Yeah, and she was like, since you don't have any fucking balls left, let me fucking grow an extra set of fucking balls. Enough balls for both of us.
I wanted to mention that part about the necklace. Do you remember that part? About the necklace?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Remember, he gives her they go into the gift shop and he gets the necklace for her.
Oh yeah, that's a little bit later.
He breaks it.
Yeah, that's later.
Yeah, that's their honeymoon.
They haven't gotten out yet.
Is that later?
Yeah, that's later. Because right now they're still she just threw them on.
Oh, that's right.
On this next episode.
That part's those last two episodes were great.
Okay.
On this next one, it's the hotel one. That whole time they're in that hotel.
Yeah, and this
going
is
back and forth.
This is where we get what we said earlier.
Okay, yeah.
She kind of brings back the Rick Grimes
when
that we
they're going back
enjoy.
to the what's it called?
When they're going back to Alexandria.
Oh yeah.
Well, first they're leaving on the way home.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that's when they stop and get all that.
Yes, they kind of have like Double A said, like a honeymoon almost. So she throws him out of the helicopter. That's how episode 3 ends, right?
Yeah.
So we go right into episode 4,
which I'm like, perfect. All right, so they open up episode 4. The helicopter crash. Everybody's dead.
Right.
Boom.
Which they were thinking
Rick's dead.
I wonder how they crashed though.
And then the other CRM helicopter comes and blows that one up. So I was like, oh, well.
And he's like, oh, this is what we do because we don't like anyone to know
and
that
I was
exist.
like, okay, well, that's good.
And I'm sure Michonne probably in her mind was like, we couldn't be more scot-free. What fucking,
Which she does say. She's like, we're dead.
Yeah, it's like, and he's still fucking like Nesio. And I'm like, bro. And in that moment, I was like, "You are such a bitch right now.
I
can't fucking
I'm
stand
like, go
you.
over there, take off your arm, and throw it in the wreckage. Like, fuck, come on now."
Exactly, man. I'm just like, yeah. Which also bothers me. Is it in this? It's definitely this episode, right? Jadis comes back in this episode.
Yes.
Where I was like, "You sorry bitch. How could you possibly think they were alive? Like, there's no fucking way."
Or you know what, Sam? I'm sorry. I think that's episode 5.
Yes. Yeah, and I know she mentions like, well, there was this yellow truck there, and then the yellow truck was missing, and I was like, it's the apocalypse. Bitch. Anybody could have got that.
In the 3rd episode or the 4th episode, remember Michonne drops the knife or the machete or whatever, and they zoom in on it, and I was like, oh, that's how they're gonna know they're still alive because they found that.
But you know, Jadis is gonna.
But there's people traversing the country like. Who gives a fuck?
It's like Sam said. If it was a CRM, they're just going to overlook it.
Yeah, even
Jadis is the only one that's looking for fucking
If
clues.
somebody came and told me that, I'd be like, no, they fucking blew
They're
up.
dead.
First, she threw him out the fucking helicopter, and it's like, even if they were like, there's only 4 bodies or whatever, I'd be like, we could have got fucking charred up. The zombies could have fucking.
Could have been in
I'm
the
like,
ocean.
I am not gonna waste resources on those fucking 2. Like, I'd be like, fucking get out of here, Jadis. And also, too, I'm like, you mean to tell me she believed in them so much and she thought they survived that? That's fucking dumb. I was like, oh, this to say that we like the show. I didn't like that either.
No, I didn't like that part. Yeah.
But in this episode, they end up in this like modern house or whatever, right? Yeah.
There people who were there were still kind of able to keep things up, like where everything was still pretty top notch. You know, still had power, still had a lot of shit.
This is like Elon Musk
before they got overrun by zombies.
Now, what did you think, sis, about seeing them? They get into this house and there's some kind of comforts there or whatever.
Yeah, I
mean,
I think...
let's go in the shower.
Yeah, it was like a good opportunity for them to kind of like rekindle the fire because they had already been apart for so long, and Rick was already like giving her the like back and forth. So I think it was a good opportunity for them to actually like be alone and talk about their future and all the shit that they had been through to get to each other and what would be best for them now.
Absolutely. And of course, I mean, I think Michonne and every right has to be still a little bit pissed off from the whole like you were going to send me away type shit. Like that's a total slight to everything she did to get to me.
Yeah, which she mentions a couple times throughout the show.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't give up. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, what the fuck's up with you? Like, And I mean, obviously, she sees his hand and she's like, "Wow, you did this! Like, you went to these lengths." It's like, there should be no like, I will never. Do you ever? This is my idea of commitment. Are you guys ever like in a long line and then you're like, well, at this point, I don't really want it anymore, but I'm not going to get out of line now because I'm like, I already waited this long. I'm not going to waste that 20 minutes I was in this line. I'll fucking just stick it out for whatever reason I was here. I'm like...
Well, yeah, that's like when you're on hold.
We did it at the Dallas Comic-Con. So.
We sure did. We were like, we're going to ride this bitch out to the fucking very end. That's when I was dressed as Negan and was very, very sweaty. So, yeah, no doubt. I can't remember what happened recently that I was just like, at this point, there's no going back. I'll just fucking wait because I've already been here this long. So.
I think we spend half our lives waiting.
And I'm telling you, it just feels like that sometimes. But go ahead, Double A. So this movie is a lot of
it's just really this. It's just really the back and forth.
Right.
The Michonne making the argument that why Rick should come home. Mm-hmm. Rick's argument on why he shouldn't. Mm-hmm.
And what are they going to do about it?
Yeah, what are they going to do about it? And
is this the episode where she reveals about RJ?
Yes. Okay. Finally reveals it. Because I was like, oh, he didn't have it. He didn't know.
She's saying children, and he's like,
he's like, you said children.
But then even that, it was like, it still wasn't good enough. I was like,
I mean, there was a point where I wanted Michonne to snap and be like, motherfucker, I told you have an unborn son.
You have a son again.
I would have also been like, for all we know, Judith is not yours. This is your fucking son.
This
like,
is yours for sure.
You don't want to meet him? You don't want to know him? You tell him you want to be a deadbeat fucking dad? Like, I'm like...
and then she names him Rick Jr.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Y'all hateful.
I'm like, no, man, since he was on my last nerve. I wanted Michonne to slap the shit out of him. I was like...
I thought she was
slap this
a couple
motherfucker,
times.
man.
I thought she was a couple times.
I thought she also was going to probably, like, knock his ass out and, like, tie him up and be like, I'm just going to take you back. Like, because...
She could.
I was like, she should do that already. Of course, also, when the CRM blows up that helicopter that they were supposed to be in, again, I forgot about that, so it's like annihilating any potential for evidence that anyone, even like Jadis, was like, well, thought they might be alive. I'm like, we blew up the fucking helicopter. Like, that causes the building that they're in start to crumble. So this becomes a little bit of a secondary plot device that's moving them along.
Right.
I mean? They've also
got to either get out or die.
And at one point, Michonne becomes crushed under rubble and is like, leave me, go. Like, I'm crushed. And he's not going to leave her. You know what I mean? And she's like, well, do you see? Like, I'm just like,
well, he wasn't
dude.
going to leave her. I mean,
exactly. But I'm like, also, Rick, like, you're doing nothing for us, man. You're making no good case for us. Like, you just make us look fucking hard-headed and dumb and don't listen. I'm like, she could not have been more right. You know what I mean? Like, again, I really wanted her to bop his ass over the head and be like, I'm just going to load you into the trunk of a car and just drive you back to Alexander myself. I don't really need you. I got all this way without your ass. It's like,
True.
That might have made for a better show, maybe. A little bit. I think about it.
But like you said, the last 2 episodes really kind of save this series.
And that's what I think I told Amy. Because what happens at the very end of this one, Double A, at the end of, we're at 4? Right?
Oh, this is where finally he comes to his senses.
Yes.
After everything's happened, after they finally smash,
Mm-hmm.
they find the car with the ethanol, where they're like, this is it, we can go home.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, let's do it.
It's like, dude, if you didn't believe in, like, a power above, at this point, everything, all the stars have lined up for you, bro. Like, God or the powers that be are telling you, go home, Rick, and you're still like,
of love.
I don't know if I should go home. I'm like, you should definitely fucking go home. I'm like,
I mean, he wants to go home. I mean, I never doubted that. I think he's just...
I don't know.
It's been a long time since he's been away. You know, I think he was tired of trying to escape, and... It
reminds me, sis, of like when people say they get Stockholm syndrome. Are you familiar with this? Where like a person they start to fall in love with their captor.
Right,
Yeah. Or the same thing, like when you hear like, in Shawshank, Brooks talk about, being institutionalized.
Right, because that's all he knew.
I want to commit a crime to go back because that's all I know. And I'm like, really, Rick, already? Like, you shouldn't have broke. You're the guy we need to not be breaking, but you obviously have.
But he was easier to be broken when he wasn't with Michonne. And even though she was back... I think he needed some time to. I think he needed some time for her to make him realize that again. Like,
I guess
like he wasn't home. he wasn't home. He wasn't home anymore, and she is his home. But she had already been gone for so long, so...
Maybe we don't know, but the CRM maybe had, like, beer and the porn channel. And so he's like, well, why would I leave this? You know what I mean? Like, I need to know that there was something else there going on.
Ain't nothing more real than the real thing.
What the fuck? Yeah. As Nick Name here says, which is a great name, by the way, Nick. He says, go home, Rick, you're drunk. Yeah, clearly. Or he needed to get drunk. I mean, he did put some booze down. And,
yeah, I think they had some...
couple of whiskeys
yeah,
there.
The Black Label. I was like, dang, y'all got the good stuff.
The Johnny Walker. Quick slide here from when we mentioned earlier when Rick is having these kind of like fantasies or whatever too about meeting Richonne in like I guess a not zombie world. Again, I felt like up to this point it's a series of like, hey, if you like the Rick Grimes character, we're gonna take all that away from you for 3 episodes. And I was like, wow, I really fucking am upset at you. And I kept thinking about you, Double A, and Jack, and I was like, everything that these guys said for all those seasons was right. That Rick was a terrible leader. He sucked. That y'all hated him. And I was like, no, Rick, y'all don't know. Rick's badass. Look, Rick this, Rick that. And I was like, nah, okay, you're doing nothing for me, brother. You're doing nothing for me. So yeah, a bit of a bummer. But it takes us right into episode 5. So we know we're in the penultimate episode, second to last. So, and I remember at the end of this one, as we see Rick come back, I told Amy here, I said, well, I hope these last 2 will be fun, like them 2 kind of smashing heads on their way back to home.
And smashing.
A good time. Yeah, smashing. Yeah,
again,
absolutely.
So, I don't know, have you guys seen the titles? Did you guys notice the titles of the episodes?
I did not. What were they?
Okay, so like through episodes 1 through 5, the first one is Years Gone By. That's the first 3. I mean, the first 3. Years Gone By. And then 4 and 5 is 4 is what we, and then 5 is become. What we become.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. That's beautiful, actually.
And then the last one's called The Last Time.
Okay. So, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So Become is the Jadis episode. Heavy Jadis episode. Ugh. Yep. Where me and Sam are like, hell yeah. Let's bring on Father Gabriel and Jadis now.
The way I felt about this episode is the way Jadis' face looks in this picture right here. Where I was like, ugh.
Damn.
Fuck.
Yeah. You didn't like the once-a-year meeting?
Oh, I was like, oh, let me get out my fucking whiskey now. My fucking, I don't have Black Label, but
she got the what up, cuh haircut.
Yeah, for real. She got the Marbach haircut. Yeah, give her 2 diamond earrings. You know what I mean?
Damn,
a grill. Man. Yeah. A little bit of San Antonio for y'all there if you're not from our Texas audience. Somebody else, please take us to this episode.
Pretty much this is the honeymoon episode. This is the one where Rick and Michonne are surviving. They're getting new clothes. They're getting food.
Right.
They're having fun with each other.
And how about this, guys? This is what I noticed. They're not afraid of anything.
No.
Because they have each other now. They're not afraid of people out in the street. These 2 have seen fucking everything. There's no way they're not going to have a good time. And go ahead, just talk about the gift shop scene. There's a really cool scene you mentioned.
Yeah, so they go into the gift shop, and I think there's necklaces that have names. And
they look at the ID too, right? Like the license plate.
Yeah, the license plate IDs.
Where she's like, I hate them because there's never been a Michonne.
Yeah, and
he asked her too, you think this will be okay as a gift for Rick?
Yeah.
Or she's like, no.
Junior. She's like, no one calls him Junior.
Junior.
Yeah.
But so Rick sees, I think it's like says Michelle or something, but he breaks off just the M and then he gives her the necklace later. Yeah. And I had told Charlie, she has an M necklace in the episode, like in the original Walking Dead.
I don't remember that.
And I think
that?
she loses it at some point, I think, or something. Probably one time she gets beat down by somebody.
Yeah, yeah.
Those people took a lot of beatings, but yeah. So and I was like, I remember that vaguely, unless I made that up in my head, but I'm pretty sure I didn't.
I mean, damn, you told me this. I was like, well, that's a good piece of Walking Dead lore. And I was like, I didn't know.
I think she had
like,
an M at one time, like in the first couple of seasons, maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So pretty cool though, like Rick's little nod at being like, hey, they don't have Michonne obviously, but they have an M, which is funny that she said that because, Amy's son, my nephew, he's got a very unique name also, which we never ran into. Yes. And when we go to like the beach or whatever, he sees those things. He's like, oh, they're never. I'm never kind of buying them. And I'm like,
pretty
but
sure
I tell him all the time that I tell him all the
time
I can have anything made with your name, son.
That's true.
You want a T-shirt, you want a license plate, whatever
custom,
you want.
But I guess he wants to
made.
find it though, right?
Yeah,
it's a find.
Right. It is that too. Yeah.
And I bet you if we did find it, it would be spelled with a K.
Yeah.
right. Or he might just find like the CAL, like which might be cool. You do see Cal sometimes, yeah.
Cal Ripken.
Cal Ripken. And in is it intercut? It's intercut that what's going on with Rick and Michonne with Jadis's apparently
the yearly meetings where she's like, I don't like what I have to do. I don't like what the CRM is doing, but it's what I got. It's what I'm comfortable. Blah blah blah. And Father Gabriel's like ready to take his pants off and get a little sucking going on.
I was like, of all the characters they brought back, Father Gabriel, okay. And again, too, like I really want to understand, and I'm hoping you guys can help me understand. But like, what's the timeline here? Like, is this going on?
Oh, well, it does. It does say like I think 5 years, 4, 3, 2, until it gets to this last one where he doesn't see her anymore.
Yeah, because he even tells her, he's like, we lost Rick in this bridge, and at this point where she already knows she's the one that has him. So it's like
they're going to the same time.
Yeah,
like she's already in the CRM the first time they meet, so they're already there.
Because I even told Amy at first, I thought she confessed to him that she had Rick, and I was like...
No, because Gabriel would have...
Yeah.
Gabriel would have went back and brought everybody.
But my first thought was, I was like, oh my gosh, Gabriel knew? Like, no. I was like... And I was kind of like, man, that's fucked up. I was about to hate him, then I was like, oh no, he doesn't know. Yeah. Because that would have totally killed that character.
Gabriel would have went back and he would have told everyone. Daryl, everybody.
Daryl and everybody, yeah.
Yeah, so then they run into those 3 people, the 2 dudes and the chick.
Yes.
And, they give them noodles. They help them out.
They help
them noodles. And then right away, the guns.
Pull the gun.
Me and my wife were like,
of course. Really?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Which they easily, overpower them. And...
Again, this is like they're having the time of their lives, Rick and Michonne. They're like, man, we already seen so much shit. We've done so much shit. They easily overpower them, take the shit. And then Michonne reclaims the noodles.
Yeah.
And even Rick is like, dang, I didn't think you were going to take the noodles back from them. And she's like, nah, you don't put guns on us and then get noodles. I was like, man, she's right.
This is probably, I think season 9 she's got it on.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Let me see this. Damn, I would have never have remembered that.
Because I think at some point they talk about the necklace in the original.
The M. Michonne necklace.
Yeah, and it's so funny because like those people are like, oh man, like really you're gonna take the noodles and yeah, motherfucker.
You put guns on us after they had said you can go on your way.
Then when me and my wife saw that when they found the noodles, they were like, oh man, that's badass. They found like a whole stash of noodles.
Which was funny because it was called like Tasteful Nudes or something like that. And I thought that was like a clever name. It's like, what the fuck? Like NOODS, Tasteful Nudes.
And then, somehow, Batman, Jadis fucking figures out where they're at. They could have turned anywhere. They could have got on this highway, but she knew exactly where they were.
Well, she said that they left rappers and everything too. Like,
but also,
but it's like, man, like really.
Also, as uptight as she makes the fucking CRM be, I'm like, how are you getting in and out all the time and just roaming the countryside? I'm like, at what, and then too, I'm like, what a cunt that you're not fucking like, that you're not like, you find the rappers and be like, you know what, good for them. They made it.
It
was
helped them that ate this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But even then to not be like, at this point they're on their merry way. Just let it go.
Because she didn't want happiness
for
them.
Bitch, get the freak out your ass.
You're so far into the CRM already. It doesn't matter.
They're so far into her. I was like,
you know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter if Rick's gone anymore. You're in deep with these people already.
It's like
stupid.
She was just bitter.
Obsessed.
She was petty.
She
The
was
bitch was
obsessed.
petty. That bitch was petty and obsessed. Yeah.
She ends up finding them, and she gets those people to help her, and it becomes a shootout. kill those other 3 people.
Yeah,
real
they
easy.
were stupid and sorry, and they get attacked by the zombies. The
Yes.
zombies get
Yeah.
And with those weird ass zombies that got hard.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they had like cement in them. Or
Yeah.
something. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was neat.
Yeah, and finally one of them gets Jadis after they try making a bargain.
In the neck, right? In the
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah, bite her in the neck.
Yeah, got it.
Which I was like, yes, you got bit, bitch.
Finally. But then she still rambles on for like about a good
I
5
know.
minutes. I was like,
I told
shit.
Amy, I said, why does she get this fucking monologue?
I
at the end?
know.
I'm like,
I was like,
I wanted Michonne to just fucking chop her fucking
yeah,
head
I
off.
would have grabbed that
I
gun
think,
and just blew her in.
I wish I would have died an artist. No, but instead you became a bitch, a rowdy fucking bitch.
Yeah, which they show her like painting in the nude. I'm like, oh, I'm sure CM loved that.
I'm like, I get into it, I'm like, are you getting flashbacks? We're treating you like Carl? You get fucking Carl treatment? I was like, this is fucking terrible.
They were
I think
killing
Scott
her
Gimple was
off.
hitting it on the side
Oh,
or something.
man.
I think, I'm like, you did not deserve this send off. You're a trash person, literally, in the show. You live in trash. I was like, you're the Oscar the Grouch of the fucking
I was
Walking
just
Dead.
glad that bitch finally died.
Yeah, with Rick hits her with the axe in the head. Does she get the axe?
And then
No, he shoots her.
Jadis gives them the ring that Father Gabriel found.
Yeah.
See,
Then
now
that
that
too,
I was
I'm
like,
like-
okay, a little redemption.
No. If I'm Michonne, I'd have been like, I don't want this bitch's fucking nasty ass fucking
Well, it was
pussy
from
ring. You know
Gabriel.
what I mean? I'm like, man, whatever. She could have making up whatever she wanted. I'm like, I love how everyone takes each other at their word in this. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so,
Well, I think when you're dying, you got a fucking chunk missing out your neck.
if I'm Rick, I'd have been like,
what do you have
mean
left to
tell-
lose?
If I'm Rick, I'd have been like, you mean to tell me you've been going back more or less to the Alexander area every year to meet with Gabriel? I'm like, man, you know what? I ain't even. I'm gonna let you just turn and freaking. I ain't even gonna kill you, bitch. It was like, fuck that. Fuck that. It was so like, I thought she got way too much in this episode.
Yeah, she did.
I'm like, you're nobody we care about. I don't care about you.
Well, she died anyway, so.
Oh, good riddance. I mean, I think we literally both clapped at the end. We were both like,
But I think
finally.
it was like a 10-minute death.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, can you kill this bitch in 2 minutes? I'm like, I got work tomorrow. Fuck.
So now,
It
so
was
now,
Pee Wee Herman and Buffy.
yeah.
He's like,
Or Will Ferrell and Austin Powers. He's like, oh, it really hurts. It smells like almonds.
He's like, the wound is starting to smell a little like almonds.
He's like, can you get me some type of doctor down here? The Dr. Evil's listening, like, I can get him. Or...
Fuck.
Yeah, so Jadis, before she dies, she tells him that, about the dossier where blah, blah, blah. So they both come to an agreement that they have to go back,
Yeah.
destroy this dossier, and...
Even then, how about that? If I'm Michonne and you're like, here's this ring, blah, blah, Gabriel, I'd be like, bitch, how about you tell me exactly where the dossier is? Exactly where it's at.
Well, she wasn't going to make it that easy for them.
I'd be like, okay, if you don't do that, then I'm going to start to peel your skin off layer by layer until you can
They
start
don't have
talking.
time for our torture.
I think Michonne would have been happy to
They're
torture
trying
that
to get
bitch.
home.
I think Michonne was like, bitch, you fucking with my kids, my family,
No,
you taking a
Michelle would
lot
have been
from
happy
me.
to just fucking cut her head off. She'd have been like, fuck.
Now, did you shed a tear when Father Gabriel noticed that she didn't come back?
No, I was like,
And he
man,
made her a little grave.
all right, man, stop being horny, bro. I'm like, she was no Rosita
He was-
by a fucking
He
long
was
shot.
celibate for a long time.
Oh my god! I'm like, this is what you get sprung and thirsty over, Father Gabriel, bro. I'm telling you,
I'm
man.
telling you, it had to have been Rosita time already. I was
Which
like,
makes it even more fucking despicable. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
putting the
Rosita.
timeline together is kind of hard because it's like
Man.
too much.
Rosita is like a hard 10, like the finest chick in all of fucking Walking Dead verse anywhere. And I'm like, I'm like, she shacks up with 2 scrubs in the show, and I'm like, she hadn't had a good man since Abraham.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Sadiq.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Which I'm like,
3.
You let Sadiq hit, and
Man, I ain't get her pregnant.
I'm like, and then you go to Father Gabriel. I'm like, girl, you need to work on your self confidence. And then she dies.
She had
Like,
a baby from Gabriel too, right?
No.
Oh, she just has the one.
No. Yeah, just the one. And
I'm
then,
sure, CM, I'm sure after meeting with Jadis, I'm sure he was so super horny that he gave it to Rosita.
Fuck.
Damn.
One last time before.
That's hateful.
You know what? If that motherfucker gets bit by zombies, I won't be sad.
I was never going to be sad if Father Gabriel died
He
at any
survived this
time.
long. He ain't going on.
Yeah,
like
Father
that.
Gabriel was one of the people that I was like, I could see it as a necessary
But
death.
you lived.
Yeah.
Eugene lived. Like you're. All these motherfuckers live.
See, you guys are always getting mad at me for liking Negan, but wouldn't you imagine him taking the bat to Father Gabriel? Would have been kind of nice at this point, you know? Like, wow. I mean...
Well, he liked Gabriel, too, for some reason.
I know, yeah, they were like buddies. Maybe because he was also a scumbag. That's why he was like...
Yeah,
hey,
as
Negan,
we're learning more and more.
Hey, Negan, tell me about how you had lots of wives and you would screw all the guys. I want to do that, too. I'm a fucking asshole, too. Fuck, man. All right, Dole, take us to this last one.
So the last one is...
I don't know if I like this show after all.
But
So they finally go to the CRM and, you know, they hear the real echelon briefing. How we've said up top of the show that, you know, it's all about resources, trying to live as long as you can, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
That's the Kool-Aid. And you're like, wow, so that's what Thorne was all taking in on. I was like, okay, whatever. You know, that was a stupid plan, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, you guys have zero regard for human life.
Yeah,
when he was talking the whole time, I was like, when is it going to be over?
Yeah. He was definitely monologuing. I was like, and mind you, they've gone back, which to me I thought was totally dangerous for them to go back. But Rick and Michonne go back because they got to get the dossier. And I'm like,
out of the cat's ass.
Isn't there a fucking good chance they just don't find it? Because, you know, apparently they seem kind of inept. You know what I mean? A lot of the fucking people over at the fucking...
I mean, if I saw a little fucking paper that was rolled up, I'd be like, oh, her toilet paper?
Yeah. I mean, that's not something... And also, too, this bitch dies away from them, and then she, I guess, left word if I die, go through my room. Or...
They're just going to clean up this shit.
They're just going to clean it up. I don't think that fucking Terry O'Quinn's going to be like, are there any clues in here to a potential random village that could have been a threat? I mean, Grimes is dead, right? He blew up in the fucking helicopter.
Grimes is dead. Jadis is dead.
I'm like, apparently this bitch has been leaving every fucking time. And I told her, what if she would have got caught out there and tortured and been forced to lead her way here? She is just as much a fucking traitor to the cause or whatever. Her shit was so backwards. Go ahead, Double A.
Oh, and then, you know, the Beale, Major General Beale, finally tells Rick, you know, Michonne's hearing it. At the same time, Rick's hearing what this whole plan is. You know,
because it's going to happen that day. They're going to go and bomb Portland, which is the last of the three circles, because they already did Omaha, so now they got to go do Portland, and then the CRM, which is Philadelphia, will be the only ones remaining, and they're going to be using the resources of now Portland. So because there's too many zombies,
but not before they pick kids, right? They were going to take kids.
Yeah, they're gonna pick up some kids and basically separate them from their families and all this shit. And it's like, you know, but that's how Michonne is learning about it, and she's like, we got to do something about this. These people are fucking heinous or whatever. And Rick is also like, yeah, you're pretty heinous.
I'm gonna kill you, which he does.
Yes, which is also great.
Beale. Yeah, and he finally kills him.
With his own sword, which is pretty fucking cool. Although I thought
swear
Rick...
to the sword.
Yeah, swear to the sword. And I thought Rick could have done a little bit better, but I forget that he has only one hand.
He only has one arm. It's man, that's a big handicap.
I was going to say, damn, how old is Terry O'Quinn in Double A? He's got to be like...
He's up there.
I was saying, like, he looked older than me in the 80s, so I was like, that motherfucker got to be like, you know... I don't know.
He's Sean Connery old.
I'm saying, fuck, you know what I mean? So that's pretty gratifying. And then, of course, in Rick and Michonne fashion, they have to fashion an idea on how to stop this from happening, right, guys? We got to stop Portland.
He is 71.
Oh, damn.
That was pretty good for 71.
Yeah, I was going to say it, too. That he was only, like, probably in his 50s when we were watching him in the 80s. No, 40s.
Yeah.
But he always had kind of that same look, right? Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh, all right. Ageless wonder there. So what do you guys think about this next chapter here? Do you think Rick and Michonne were right to do something, or should they have just gone on their merry way?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad they did. I mean, kind of go back. It was cool. They went back. They destroyed this fucking...
Yeah.
You know, this little group here, you know, they get the news to the other colony, and they're like, holy shit, like, really? That's what these motherfuckers are doing over here?
Yeah.
You know, they caused, you know, they massacred
genocide,
people.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They had people locked up.
Right.
Which they're like, I don't know if you guys remember the ending where, like, if you want to leave, you guys can leave.
Yes.
You know, you're no longer bound to this.
Yeah, those rules don't apply
anymore.
Right.
Yeah. And that they're going to be picking up people...
Yeah.
You know, and bringing them back, and, you know.
It's poetic, too, how Rick and Michonne do it, because they fucking, like, line up all these grenades around all the bombs that they're going to use to blow up fucking Portland, and they tie it to the zombie fucking Beale or whatever, and so, like, when he walks, they all come undone. Mind you, at this time, it's not easy, because Thorne catches, you know, Michonne and Rick in the act, and it's like, she's like, whatever you did, undo it, because she's a full drinker of the Kool-Aid, she's fully in.
Kool-Aid.
and they're like, well,
What's
we're not
stupid
gonna
though
do
is that what me and my wife were pissed off was like, so the bombs go off, right?
Mhm.
Everybody gets killed, right?
Mhm.
Boom, everyone's a
Yeah.
zombie. Thorn is just fine.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like she's like right there at ground zero.
Because she wasn't there yet.
She's-
Because remember, she was looking for them.
But they blew up everyone, even the soldiers that were out.
right.
Those guys are dead and turned zombie, but Thorn isn't. I was like, come on now.
Hey, you know when you
One
have,
should have been dead already.
you know when you have that second level boss power double A?
Yeah.
It's like, she was like
you gotta live just a little bit longer.
she was like when you fought like Sagat before fighting Bison. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
gotta go through the second one. So
Oh, they finally get that bitch though. They finally killed Thorn. And,
yeah.
Which
Who-
my
at first I liked her. It's kind of funny. I felt, you know.
I really didn't. Me
Yeah.
and my wife didn't like her at all. We
Because
thought her.
at one point
I was
even
thinking
telling
maybe
you, right,
that
so-
they were gonna like Rick was gonna
Turn
turn
her.
her and be like, hey, fucking come back with us. Like you don't have to live this way. Or
I think at
whatever.
one point I had even told Amy, I had said, man, I feel kind of bad because his friend is there or whatever. And I mean, then I was like, nah, you're right. Like, she's just fucking, she sucked too. I was like, man, suck. His other buddy was cooler, the one that was like, fool, I'm working for the water company.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
That Mexican dude, man, that dude's doing all right. Yeah, so, I mean, that pretty much concludes that part, which is that, like, okay, so that's
So you're hoping like now with this section of the CRM gone, now you're hoping that they're going to use whatever resources they have to kind of get people
Right,
and maybe try to start over, but in a better way.
Right.
yeah. Because the
Go
CRM,
back
I think, was pretty much like the military,
Yes.
the militaristic
Mhm.
aspect of that big. Because I think that
System.
what we learn in the World Beyond, which again, if you just want to watch it, just watch a quick video about it. It says the populations. Remember, Omaha was 100,000 people plus the 10,000 in that college. The CRM at Philadelphia is 200,000 people, and I forget how much they say is over at Portland or
I
whatever.
forgot too.
But yeah, so it's like obviously the Army isn't all CRM 200,000. CRM is specifically referring to like the military aspect. That's their
Of the
their
whole
military.
system.
Yeah, because that's why Rick is telling Michonne, he's like, no man, they've got like fucking like, you know, I don't think they have tanks, but they've got like bombs and helicopters and shit like
yeah.
that. And if you have that, you can easily overrun.
Well, they show all the stuff they have when he's looking out the window. When Michelle's
Yeah.
looking out the window, she sees all the shit they have, and when she's on the roof, you
Mhm.
can see all the equipment and everything that they have. They have a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And then we hear before Double A gets into what we hear the narrator says, what did you feel about Rick and Michonne's actions regarding Thorn and Beale and how they handled the
Yeah, well, I think they did
Situation.
everything right. I think that they were like, we can't sacrifice innocent people just because we think that there's not going to be enough, food and supplies. Like that's not their way of life.
yeah.
Even when they're like by themselves, that's not their way of life. They've always been about helping and making what they have at hand better. You know what I mean? Not fucking keeping people prisoners and against their will, like how these other fucking places had them and how the CRM or whatever it's called
Yeah.
had those people. So I think they did the right thing. Fucking killing them all because it's like
I agree.
they were gonna get rid of that other colony or city or whatever.
Portland, yeah. And it's ultimately the same thing we've seen throughout. It's ultimately one group, it's fear overrunning them. Because how do you know that they're not working on something? How do you know that they haven't
Yeah.
figured something out?
Mhm.
How do you know they don't have resources to potentially,
Yeah.
Hey, you guys can't do
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z, but we can. Why
Yeah,
don't we?
how do you know they don't have crops of fields?
Right,
Right.
They
right.
feed a shitload of people.
That's what my thing was, like, why not try to work together
Right,
instead
alrighty,
of bombing each
right,
other
yeah.
out? Like,
But again, they've taken like, well, there's so many freaking zombies.
Yeah, but
I'm like,
that's
you
what
know
I'm
what?
saying,
You know what I
man.
would do? I'm gonna solve the zombie apocalypse for you guys, right? Should we ever us three be in this situation and living in 3 separate cities of each 100,000? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna band together. We're gonna fucking get some loud ass fucking speakers and some music on a bunch of fucking cars. We're gonna round up all the hordes and we're gonna ride them all to the Grand Canyon. They all drop in.
Yep.
Boom. Bingo, bango, we're all good. See, zombie apocalypse solved right there. Just done for you. Right here, just another Friday night. So, how about you, Double A? Were you gratified with up to this point in the story where we're at?
Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. There were some of the things I was like, that kind of sucked. But,
Yeah.
but overall, though, them doing this, it was fine. Yeah.
And so then we get this overhead narration. Who's talking? It's not Rick, right? It's not Michonne. Who's doing the narration that says?
It's the news. Remember their news?
Oh, the
thing?
news. Right.
Yes.
That's right. Again, more I mean, I guess that's a necessary resource. But yeah, there is like a news report that goes out that says like, okay, we unearthed that the CRM was up to this.
Yeah, the atrocity are exposed. Command structure is damaged, is decimated. The civilian government takes over and reforms the CRA to aid other survivors, while enabling free travel from the city.
Right. And then we see these two choppers kind of coming up over this hill, and we can only assume,
they're carrying supplies.
And that we see Rick and Michonne get dropped off into this field, right? They're kind of in civilian clothes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they look clean. They look good.
Yeah, they look good. And then we see, what do we see, sis? Do you remember?
Yeah. So then they see their children.
Yeah, which me and Christina are like, hell yeah.
Yes.
Which me and Charlie were thinking that was not going to happen.
We're going to have to wait till season 2 to see that.
And I was
like,
I had predicted that. I was like, there's no way they're going to get home in this season. There's no way. I just didn't think that.
And then, again, it was after this episode that's when both of them were like, Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrero. How do you say her?
Guerrero? Uh-huh.
Yeah, that they're both like, we said this was going to have a happy ending. Like, this was already like, when we're developing this series, we're like, we're going to start from here, but we're going to end here.
Okay.
So it was like a decision by both of them, CM. Yeah. That they were both like, no, we're going to reunite with the kids.
And like Untamable Amy said, AA, it felt like, I was like, damn, they're going to definitely hit us with the season 2.
Yeah.
So when this happened, I was like, oh, this feels very final. And that's that we know that there is going to be, well, I think they've pretty much confirmed there will be a Dead City season 2, right?
Yeah, I want to say.
I think they did confirm that. So that's the Maggie and Negan show, and then we definitely know that Daryl Dixon season 2, The Book of Carol, is coming out because this is going to be about.
That's
I really want to see
Carol's.
that one,
I really want to see it. So you got to
watch the first season. Yeah.
So we're going to see Carol get back to. So I guess the next thing that we could be looking forward to, and again, guys, I'm sorry that I didn't say this earlier.
If they do season 2 of those, that's fine. I mean, I kind of would like to just leave it like this with the Rick and Michonne one.
Yeah. Well, I think this Book of Carol is going to be about Carol obviously reuniting with Daryl. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? And
that's fine. And his story. You know what I mean? Sure.
But I would like to see the Bigs see each other one more time.
Sure.
You know what I
mean?
mean?
You can do that in the Daryl show. Maybe you can.
Shit, make a 1 hour special and just call it like The Walking Dead, finale or whatever. You know what I mean?
That would be fucking awesome.
Real quick, this comment from Nickname, and Nick, I apologize, I didn't put this up earlier, but our spoilers, we are spoiling the shit out of.
No, but he said he hasn't seen it.
Yeah, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. He says, man, it's been a long time since I watched this series. He says, I'm confused, but it's nice hearing about it. But Nick, again, we're talking about, this is a second, or not second, but a follow-up to the original Walking Dead. Obviously, there was Fear the Walking Dead, separate characters. Then we got Dead City, which was, Maggie and Negan's story after. And then we got the Daryl Dixon show, Daryl's story after. And then this story, The Ones Who Live, which is what Rick,
but this is pretty much the story after The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
About Rick and Michonne.
Yes, about Rick and Michonne. And this is the story that where, I think they called it The Ones Who Live because at one point Rick says, we are the Walking Dead, referring to them. We're the ones just walking around like they're zombies. Right. But then I think later on, through Michonne's love and their relationship, he says, but we're not the Walking Dead. We're the ones who live, which is really cool. So it's like, this is showing them. And again, this feels like finality for the Rick and Michonne characters, right? Like, Rick Grimes and now Michonne Grimes, I guess. And RJ, Rick Jr. and Judith. They all embrace, they reunite. It's very beautiful.
But you know what would have been cool? It's like I told you, if you remember that ending I told you that they originally wanted for The Walking Dead?
With the kids, right?
That would have made it so much better because it would have disproven that theory that the CRM had. About 14 years, humanity's going to be gone.
Yes.
Where they're there.
Ooh, I like that.
They're still calling out for people like, hey, we have a colony.
So talk about that real quick, Double. Talk about that ending. This was an
alternate originally in The Walking Dead, it was supposed to end with help me out with the names. It's RJ, Judith, but then it was supposed to be Maggie's kid, and Herschel, and
Aaron's kid.
Aaron.
I forget her name.
So it was going to be them, where they were almost like it was seen kind of like as they were the leaders.
Yeah.
Now, and they were going around still looking for people to bring them in. to bring him into the.
That would have
the
definitely
group.
been much later than 14.
I wouldn't even have. Yeah. They're almost like adults, I
Yes.
think, or at least
They're supposed
teenagers.
to be. They're supposed to be adults.
They filmed it AA, or there was just.
There was just that was talk that was
Yeah.
going to be.
But
the
there's a
ending.
still image you can look at. That's cool. You can see that it shows it where the kids.
But
are.
instead we got the other ending.
Yeah,
You know,
I
so.
wonder if I could find it real quick.
But yeah, so that would have been kind of cool because it would have counteracted what, like I said, with the CRM, right? CRM, like it would have been like, oh, okay, well that theory went to shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That the mankind is still going.
Yes. No,
You
and
know, a new generation has taken up. You know.
AA's doing it right there where it's like he's kind of giving it a better end, and I like that better because it's double ended where it's like, oh, you're also saying that. See, we proved you were wrong.
Yeah, we proved
You
you're
know?
wrong. We're still going.
Absolutely. Here's a real quick scene from kind of the honeymoon that AA was talking about earlier, where it's Rick and Michonne out there. I didn't put too many slides. I just put right here Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera, obviously beautiful.
Yeah, like I said, them two
okay.
like were really heavily involved in this series.
But
Nick,
not in
please
real
ask
life,
away.
right?
Nick,
Huh?
go ahead with
Not
your
in real
question.
life.
We'd love to hear
No,
that.
not
Yeah.
in real life, but they were just like they knew where they wanted their characters to
With
go.
the show,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
right.
and I love
Yes.
that because again, it shows you too when you give people that love the characters that are
Like they were
you know,
really invested in their characters and the story.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
They did an amazing job.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Nick. You said you had a quick question. I'd love to hear it. We'll wait for you to pop that up. But you guys, give me your thoughts real quickly about what you felt about like.
Like I said, it was kind of up and down. There were certain things I didn't like about it, but I liked the first episode. I like where they showed Rick was, and I did like the ending. The endings, as long as you give me a good ending, I can kind of forgive all the other bullshit. You know,
For the most part, the whole show was.
the
pretty
honeymoon
decent.
episode was
Yeah.
really good. The fifth episode was really good. I really liked that one. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's that picture right there.
Let me see if I can bring
Yeah.
this up to show.
And you can
guys
see,
what-
obviously, they look real old in that picture.
I love that.
You see how they all look like really, really old. Like it's been
Let me
more
see
than
if I can
14
show it
years.
here to you guys in the audience. Let me see.
And
Present
Nick says,
right
quick
there.
question. If you're in an apocalypse of undead, where would you go first?
Ooh, that's a good one. Nick, let's go around the table. We'll start with Sis. You're our guest. Do you have an answer first? You want one of us to go first? If you don't
Yeah,
have
maybe
in
one of
your
y'all,
head?
because I don't.
Double A. I know we
stations?
talked about it a lot.
Police stations?
Yeah,
I
that's a
got that
good
idea
one.
from watching the first one.
That's a good one.
You know, I mean, they all have the weapons. They have medicines. Fire
I was
stations.
just saying fire station.
Fire
I was
stations
like, get
have,
that big fire truck with the water.
Yeah.
And they have medicines too.
Right?
I've
know,
thought
so-
about for me, I've thought about like sporting goods stores before. That's occurred to me. I don't know why that.
Schools too for the
'cause of
nurses.
guns,
You
maybe.
know,
Yeah.
they have the all the
Well,
medicine.
hospital for sure,
Hospital,
right?
too.
Absolutely. Let me see. Can you guys see this? I'm not sure if you can or not.
Oh, there you
Let me
go.
see.
Yeah.
There you go. This is the image that Double A was referring to.
So
that would have been the
RJ on the end.
yeah,
Herschel.
RJ, and then with the hat. Looks like
RJ Herschel.
This must be Judith here. One of these must be Judith. I can't
I
tell
think the
by
one on the end.
you can really tell who.
Oh,
would be...
Rosita's kid.
Oh yeah,
Ah.
Rosita's
That's
kid.
her hat.
Yes, the
Yeah,
hat
yeah,
with
yeah.
Rosita.
And then that's
I
got to
love
be
that.
Aaron's daughter, in the pink probably.
Okay, that
Yeah,
makes
because
sense.
Judith has the red hair, right? She has like that auburn hair or whatever.
Yeah, I
so
guess
she'd be
so.
the one in the middle.
end.
No, the one in the middle.
Oh, you think she's the one in the pink?
Yeah,
This
because
is
she has
Judith.
her hair color.
Can you see? I thought
I
maybe
don't
she
know, I
had
think
the
the-
Right,
the
because
end.
Judith has kind of like the
Her
reddish
hair is,
right?
yeah, but she's got more like straight hair.
And she would be the oldest one out
What's
of that
that?
whole group. She would be the oldest one.
I was wondering if like how we said, obviously we see
Yeah, she
Rosita's
would
hat.
be.
But
you
then
know,
that would be Aaron's.
versus- right.
Right? The one on the far end would be Aaron's, right?
Yeah, possibly.
Well, I mean,
I would say it's tough to say between those two. I was hoping that there was maybe a defining characteristic.
I thought maybe the sword. I was hoping that you would see the sword.
right, the
with
sword, or even
her. Obviously, RJ's wearing the hat.
yeah,
Right.
or even
Obviously,
the pistol.
Herschel is Asian.
Yes, right.
Rosita's kid has the hat.
I can't tell. It looks like she has something right here on her hip. The one at the very end. but I can't
Gracie.
tell. Gracie. Yeah, Gracie was the other one there. Yeah, but really cool image, a really cool idea.
Yeah.
That
I like
would've-
that
we wish could have
alternate
happened.
ending if they would have had that. That would've been awesome.
So Double A says regarding Nick's question here again, and this for anyone else in the audience watching and listening along with us, if you were again in the apocalypse of undead, where would you go first? And Nick, I'd love to hear your answer. Where would you go? Double A says he'd go to. You said where'd you say Double A?
Fire stations,
Fire
police
stations, yeah. Looking for
schools,
guns, looking for ammunition.
Ammos, medicine.
I think my thought when I said sporting goods stores is kind of for that too, like rations maybe, flashlights, batteries, but also any type of weapons, knives, machetes. I think about a place like Cabela's or something like that. Is that what you meant, Nick, or did you mean like what
that would have
location?
been a good one too.
Yeah. Did you mean like location in the country? Because one of the things I always like from the movie Planet Terror is when the Freddy Rodriguez character says, I always thought that we should go to the coast because then we could put our backs to the ocean where they won't be able to come get us from the backside, and then we can fend them off from the front. We build up tall walls. I always thought, I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. The Robert Rodriguez movie from the Grindhouse double feature with Tarantino with Death Proof and Planet Terror. I thought that was a smart idea. Now we find later on that, in the Walking Dead world, at least some of the zombies can live in water. So I guess if they float by, you do have them coming back. But I'm sure that you could fend that off, easily enough. Versus facing them from all sides, right? Having your back against the wall for the coast is not a bad idea. But Nick goes on to say, he says supermarket because he doesn't. Don't know where the police station is. Yeah, there you go. I mean, supermarket's not a bad idea. I don't think food is there, right?
Food?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get your canned goods, shit that's gonna last long. I mean, that's all a great idea.
Bases.
Yeah, definitely. I would think bases, military bases. Sis, did you have a chance to come up with somewhere you would go? And I was asking our guest here, Nick, did he mean like, where would you go, like around you? Like in town, or like what location in the country would you go to? Because I know there's a famous book out there. It's called like How to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse, and it says if you live anywhere like in a metropolitan area, it's like you'd have to be at least 3 miles outside of the central town to survive because there'd be so many people you wouldn't make it. So we're not rural, but we could get to the country pretty quick where we live.
We can.
Us three, yeah.
We can.
And of course, you definitely would need some type of weaponry or whatever.
Or down the street from the country.
Yeah, but rations and things like that would obviously be important. So that's why I think of, like I said, sporting goods. I feel like people would rush to Walmart, so that wouldn't be the best place to go.
No.
Yeah,
Hardware
store might be good.
Yeah, hardware store, Lowe's,
The Last of
Home
Us.
Depot.
Yep, Last of Us. Yeah. I felt like there were some Last of Us type themes in this.
I mean,
show.
how can you not?
They're
The
so
Last of Us
similar.
was so good in its first season.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you guys haven't checked out The Last of Us, I think one of the things that we said during our coverage of that show is that when you really loved The Walking Dead, like at its height, this kind of takes you back to that type of feeling. And of course, everything produced by HBO is like exceptional. So have you watched that one yet, sis?
What's that?
The Last of Us?
Oh yeah, I watched it.
And you get more.
Yeah,
obviously being on HBO, you get more.
Yeah, like better special effects, better gore, better. Acting. You've got Pedro Pascal in there, and was it Bella Ramsey?
Yeah,
Bella Ramsey's great. I mean, not that the acting is not great in this, as obviously, again, we love our
like I said, this
Rick and
Walking
Michonne.
Dead one was, like at one time it was the shit.
Oh no doubt.
A lot of people took stuff from here.
What do they say? It didn't just create a show and a horde of fans. It created a media empire. And when they say media empire, that means mobile games, video games.
It was everywhere.
Costumes, cosplay, merchandise. Yeah, there is nothing you cannot get The Walking Dead on. Action figures. Everything that you could think of is out there. I've got Walking Dead Negan mug, Walking Dead Lucille pin. You know what I mean? So. I know you own the Michonne sword, double A. So,
I bought it from our wife.
Absolutely. What does Nick say here?
In here.
Oh.
He says, I think I saw someone reading a book like that on my way home. Once wonder what he's up to. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, preparing. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like how to survive the zombie apocalypse, right? I mean, like if there is such thing as a guide. But I do think even at one time, like the CDC has it on there. Is it the CDC? One of the actual real life government agencies has it on their website. You can go it's like what to do in the event of, and they have like zombies on there.
Okay.
So it's kind of like their own little way of being tongue in cheek. But yeah, lots of good places I think to go. Bases are definitely I think a good one. At least if you're just going to go and throw your hands up and be like, can I just come in? You know what I mean? So do like Eugene though. Pretend to have valuable information.
There you go.
Because of course you're going to be trying to keep people out. Where did you say, sis? You said two. You agreed.
I had agreed with the fire
hardware
station.
stores.
Yeah, pretty much like what you guys said. I mean,
I think you got to think of like maybe not where everybody would rush to. I feel like everybody would rush to Walmart. Everybody
my
would rush
first
to
instinct would be to like
supermarket,
fucking board up the house, probably, if that's where we're at the moment. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like, it's hard to say. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me jump in the car and leave. I'm like, there's fucking zombies out there.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
My
told,
first instinct would be like, all right, we
I
gotta
told
board up
my
this
wife I
house.
probably would stay home because I'm pretty sure everybody the first thing would run.
Would run.
Everybody would just
Or
run.
start
That's true.
raiding houses.
Exactly.
And I'm like, nah, we got to get the guns out in the house. We're gonna have to board up the house.
Yeah.
So this can be our safe space, even if it's just for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told my wife we'd probably be in a room like this where it's not really a windows.
Yeah. Yeah, where people think maybe you're
So
not
y'all have a
there.
2-story, so
Yeah.
that's actually
Yeah.
nice.
But again, too, the more secluded you're in, then the less you know. You also, if you heard people rummaging around downstairs, it's like, shit, what are you gonna do then?
It's the movie Signs all over again.
Exactly. Or I was thinking about, too, like Quiet Place. You know what I mean?
Or maybe they know something we don't.
Or maybe they know something we don't. Yeah, there you go, right?
I'm sure they do.
like the people that are getting prepared for the eclipse. They're like, well, we're going to get prepared. I'm like, what are you
preparing for?
Why are you preparing for?
Yeah.
I mean, according to the X-Files, because I just recently watched all of the episodes.
The eclipse is a bad sign or what?
No, they know stuff that we don't.
Okay.
Damn.
Well, shit, Double A, you made me scared earlier when you were like, oh, yeah, the earthquake in New York, and then now we're getting the eclipse. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
oh.
kryptonite.
I told Troy all the time, I was like, the government's listening in my house. And he's like,
Well, this is our last broadcast, guys. It's been a fun one, I gotta say. I want to thank you, Untamable Amy, for joining us
yeah, it's
again.
always a pleasure to be on the show.
Yeah, we love having you here. We love, especially when it's a discussion like this, The Walking Dead, something you know that you. Well, I told.
That I know about.
Well, I told Double A, I was like, she watched it with me. What do you think? You know, because we watched together. I feel like there's kind of few things we watch together now.
Still waiting on my Disney episode.
Yeah, we got to get that one. We got to get that cranked
He's
out.
gotta catch up.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff to watch. So yeah. What about you, Double A? Final thoughts on
It was
Once You
good.
Live?
It was fine. I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm happy with the ending. I'm happy they reunited. I was like, nice, because usually Scott Gimple likes to give us his shitty endings. So I was like, cool.
Was Angela King involved at all?
No.
Double A? Her name was
No.
not there at all, which I think made us all very nervous.
But then, like I said, after seeing kind of like the endings, after like the episodes were in, and hearing how involved they were, I was like, okay,
yeah,
all right.
that's great.
They probably were like, we're only gonna come back if we do it
Well, I
this
think
way.
some of it's produced or written
Yes,
by...
they get producer
Yeah.
credits, yeah, for sure. But they're like, no, if we're gonna come back, we're gonna do it this way.
Which was great. It was great. I thought it
So
was
figure it out, write it
All
out.
right.
Yeah.
And sign
No.
my check at the end.
Yeah.
motherfucker.
They did an excellent job.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, so that's really cool that you got that insight through the
Yeah, it was
AMC
cool.
Plus.
Yeah, it was
because
really cool.
I'm really happy to know that they were so involved. Obviously, again, we're referring to Andrew Lincoln and Denai Guerrera, who play Rick Grimes and Michonne. Grimes now, and we get to see them reunited with their kids. Judith and RJ. And it's a really, I think, great ending for these two characters who are beloved, and you don't really have The Walking Dead without them. So you need those two characters. What about you, sis? Your final thoughts on if this is the end of us seeing Rick and Michonne? Are you okay with it? Is this okay with you?
I really want them to get back to the rest of them, like you said. I want them to meet back up with the Daryl and Carol and just everybody. Everybody really, get back to. I think I would like
He's
that.
gonna hug Negan too.
Yeah. Oh.
I missed you. I missed you, buddy.
And all's forgiven.
Maggie,
Negan.
like
It's all right.
yeah, just for them to all be together, like for once again, and them create and build something that's gonna keep them for the rest of their days, pretty much. I would like to see that, but if I don't, this was definitely an unexpected but really great ending. So really happy with the ending.
Yeah, for me, I love this ending. It was great to see them reunited with the kids, the hug, the four of them. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Rick and Daryl bromance. So for me, a final walking away scene would be, everybody sitting around on some
Shawshank Redemption.
porch. Yeah. Oh, damn, I would love that. Man, I would love that. Rick and Daryl hug it out. One last time. With Negan too. Man, he joins in too.
Come on. Come on.
I'm sorry, I bashed Glenn's head in, and Abraham too.
Yeah.
No, I
You're
don't
gonna
know.
see him. He's back as the husband of Maggie.
Damn.
Ah.
Damn.
What happened there?
And Herschel's like, "Hey, Dad."
Damn.
Damn.
cold.
Damn.
Hey, just call me Dad, Herschel.
Ooh.
Fuck. Well, no, but I would just like him seeing, getting to see,
Right, on that picture, Herschel has the bat.
Damn.
Oh man.
Getting to see Rick and Daryl together one more time, and of course them getting to see the joy of like the remaining originals together one more time. You know, Carol, because she's from season 1. And
Yeah.
I know, Daryl's from season 2, and you've got Rick. So I think I would look. What did I say? Carol's from season 1. Daryl's from season 2.
No, Daryl's
Season 1 also?
Yeah.
Okay, but damn, I didn't realize that. Yeah. So, I mean, I think those may be the only 3 we have left from the original season. Because I don't think Michonne comes out until season 3.
Yeah, her...
Maggie season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Michonne's like with the governor, season 3, 4, and
season
one of
3,
those.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, but that still would be, you know, very, very cool. You know, like I said, even if maybe we age up the kids a little. Well, no, because they're already back and they're that age, which is like... This,
Yes.
See, this can't be long after what happened with Judith, because she had got shot at the end of the other one, and it's the same little girl. So, I mean, you know, like I said, I'm trying to figure out the time frame. I have to look that up, like Walking Dead timeline.
Too much work.
Yeah.
No, I really think it's after Commonwealth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Hey, that means Ezekiel's in charge, and they can go live there.
Yeah.
Well, because when Michonne leaves, they're in Commonwealth, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
But she leaves
like,
to go
CM
find
said,
Rick.
though, she lost a whole year
Right.
looking for her.
Yeah, being in the fucking recovering from the mustard gas, whatever the fuck that was. And we see Jadis going back and forth a couple of times because we see, like Double A was saying, it's counting down. It's like year 5, year 4. So
But wasn't
president.
Michonne looking for him for 6 years?
Well, that's what I think that we determined.
Yeah, because she leaves almost right after he gets blown up.
Right. When he's already the gray-haired, gray-bearded Rick, which we'd already jumped 6 years from when Judith was like a toddler, I think. No.
She was a little girl. She was like maybe 8 or 9.
Fuck, I don't know. I gotta look it up to be sure. But yeah. Either way, it had its problems, but I thought it was a great show. If you hadn't watched Walking Dead in a long time, I think this is a great place to maybe just like come back and say goodbye to it. It's a good send-off. The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, all the episodes out now. AMC Plus or
YouTube.
I guess I think AMC Plus. I don't know
AMC
if
would
you
be
can
your
get it on
best
YouTube.
bet. It's not. It's not too expensive either.
Yeah, and you could probably also probably could buy them on YouTube or Prime or something like that if you wanted to pay by episode. But yeah, overall I think great series. I'm glad we covered it. Yeah, I'm glad you joined us, sis.
Sure.
Glad you liked it.
Always a pleasure.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here and let you guys get back to your Friday night. But before we go, we want to say something that we say at the end of every show, and that is to remind all of you that if there's something that you want to do, a hope, a dream, something that you wish to accomplish, guys, go out and do it. There's no time like the present. Seize the day, guys. Carpe diem comes from the great film, The Dead Poets Society. That's where Double A and I adopted that from. So we like to try to, deliver that message, guys, but seize the day. And the other thing is to do what the great Captain Steve Rogers reminds the Avengers that they must do before they go back on the time heist in Endgame, when he tells them that they must do whatever it takes, guys. So sometimes you've got to do both. Seize the day and do whatever it takes. Guys, I'm CM Chuck for Just Another Friday Night.
I'm Double A.
And I'm Untamable Amy.
Guys, we're Just Another Friday Night. Check us out on all your social media platforms. Give us a like, follow, and share. Toy Mafia saying goodbye, and we're checking out, guys. We'll see you next week. Good night.